What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 10 Centigrams Chapter 171. Lucario defeats the 3 Divine Pillars, James's touching move. Advertisement in the image. The excitement of finding Pikachu made Xiaozhi move faster. He started to rock climb quickly. Except for Lucario, no one else could keep up with Xiaozhi's movements. However, as he climbed a slope, a cold, winding light roared in with cold power. Fortunately, Xiaozhi reacted in time and took a critical step back to dodge the freezing light. Otherwise, he would have turned into ice now. Xiaozhi and Lucario looked up, and a huge Pokémon made of ice stood in front of them. The Ice God Pillar, one of the 3 God Pillars, Regice. Counting this Divine Pillar, we have already met 2 Divine Pillars here. It is very likely that the 3 Divine Pillars are all gathered in the World Tree and are responsible for guarding the World Tree. Xiaozhi wanted to explain to Regice that he was just looking for entrainment and would leave after finding it. But Regice is just an ice cube, and there is only one program in his brain. Protect the World Tree. If strange humans approach the World Tree, they are the enemies of the World Tree. So without saying a word, he fired a cold freezing light again. When Lucario saw this, he was no longer polite. He condensed an aura sphere in his hand and shot it out. It directly offset the freezing light. Then he fled with Xiaozhi, and before leaving, he fired another aura sphere to block the pursuing Regice. Lucario's strength is evident. 2 of the 3 Divine Pillars have already been beaten by him. There is also a Registeel. If it's here, it's not far away. While everyone was escaping, they met Jesse and James who were also running away. And the people chasing them are the other 2 Divine Pillars. Regirock and Registeel. Coupled with the following Regice, it can be said that the 3 Divine Pillars are here. Jesse and James had no way to fight against Shenju, so they had no choice but to turn to Xiaozhi for help. At this time, Xiaozhi didn't care whether they were enemies or friends, anyway, they were both the ones being chased. The crowd continued to escape under the leadership of Lucario. And Lucario almost stopped the 3 pillars by himself. The aura sphere in his hand kept firing continuously, blocking the 3 Divine Pillars. Bruno. Let me go. Instant burst aura sphere. The speed, strength, and endurance are all so strong. This Lucario has indeed surpassed the championship level. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. Bruno's reaction is indeed very slow. This Lucario has already been dual certified by Brandon and Cynthia champions. Do you know now that he has surpassed the champion? Close black lens bracket. Lorelei. The first day you met him. But this Lucario is indeed very expressive, and did you find a problem? This Lucario seems to restrain all the Divine Pillars. Close black lens bracket. Dara. Don't say it, you really don't say it. Lucario's Steel type and Fighting type seem to really restrain the Steel type, the Rock type and the Ice type. Then isn't this a perfect restraint for Brandon? 1. Yulongdu. If Xiaozhi had challenged Brandon to bring this Lucario, wouldn't Brandon be cracked? Close black lens bracket. Annabelle. I noticed that when Xiaozhi released Pokémon before, Sceptile was still Grovyle, which means that at most he has just started to challenge Battle Frontier and has not yet reached Brandon. Close black lens bracket. Dara. If Xiaozhi conquered Lucario, wouldn't he be able to defeat Brandon with one hand? Close black lens bracket. Number 1. You are amazing. You are noble. Use me as a unit of measurement for combat, right? But, it seems like what they said is right. Judging from Lucario's current combat power, it would be difficult for him to defeat this Lucario even if all 3 Divine Pillars appeared together. This has nothing to do with command ability. The main thing is that this Lucario is too powerful. Instant aura sphere, strength, speed and endurance far surpass his 3 Divine Pillars. So what if his commanding ability is strong? The gap in combat power between the 2 sides is already completely unequal. It's just, if Xiaozhi conquered Lucario, why didn't he use it when he fought against Brandon? Close black lens bracket. Steven. Indeed, judging from the current situation, Lucario should follow Xiaozhi. Let's take a look first. Close black lens bracket. Image 1. Lucario blocked the 3 Divine Pillars for a while and immediately caught up with Xiaozhi and others. Then everyone passed a very narrow bridge. After everyone passed the bridge, Lucario directly used Aura Sphere to cut off the bridge, blocking the 3 pillars. However, this can only block them for a moment. The 3 Divine Pillars can float with wonderful power and fly for a short time. Except for a certain Earth God who cannot fly, basically the mythical beasts can fly. Xiaozhi and others also seized the opportunity to escape, and Jesse and James took the lead. But soon, a new enemy stood in front of them. This is an orange Cradily. Different colored Pokémon? No, not the kind of Pokémon with different colors. Instead, the entire body seems to be composed of orange liquid, normal creature. Jesse was swallowed directly by the orange Cradily. James released Desert Naia and wanted to rescue Jesse. But Desert Naia's pin missile had no effect on it at all, it was swallowed directly. Jesse was just devoured without a trace in front of everyone. When Xiaozhi and the others caught up, only James and Desert Naya were left where they were. Advertisement before they could ask what happened. Orange liquid condensed from the ground again, and then instantly covered James's body. Before being swallowed, James used up his last strength to take out a Pokeball. Chimecho, run away, and Desert Naia, leave me alone. These were the last words James left, and then he was swallowed up by the orange liquid.
You Longdu, you call this Team Rocket. Dandy. When his life was in danger, the first thing he thought of was to let his Pokémon escape.
Day. James from Team Rocket. His love for his Pokémon can probably exceed 99% of the people in the world. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Although these three guys are yelling about doing bad things, they have actually done almost nothing bad, and they are also very gentle towards their Pokémon. If only all bad guys were like them. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. Unfortunately, this is almost impossible. Bad guys like them are probably rare to see in hundreds of years. They're guys who are called bad guys but are actually good people. 1. Catalia. Yes, if it were another member of Team Rocket. Haha, I'm afraid he would have let Pokémon die on his behalf immediately. James is the complete opposite. Drake. What on earth is that orange thing? It looks like something generated by the World Tree. Close black lens bracket. Professor Oak. I'm afraid. That thing is similar to Yggdrasil's immune system. Do you remember the scanner that Keto released at the beginning? That thing stimulated Yggdrasil's immune system. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. In other words, now Xiaozhi and others are regarded as viruses in the World Tree? Image 1. Keto also asked Banks to analyze what the unpredictable orange liquid was. The results obtained were exactly as predicted by Professor Oak and others in the real world. That's Yggdrasil's immune system at work. That orange liquid is like the normal white blood cells in the human body. They are being treated as viruses. Now it can be said that there are waves of ups and downs. We haven't even met Pikachu yet, and there are already enemies everywhere. Desert Naia and Chimecho stared blankly at their disappearing trainer. An unspeakable emotion rose from within. But now Xiaozhi and others have no time to care about them, so they can only continue to escape. Because they happen to learn that Pokémon will not be regarded as a virus by Yggdrasil. In other words, only the humans will be wiped out by the World Tree. So even if Desert Naia and Chimecho are left alone, they will be fine.
After everyone came to a fork in the road, Xiaozhi said to the others with firm eyes.
Leave the 3 sacred pillars to me to lure them away. You run away first. If you meet Pikachu, please help me take care of him. Miss Keto, I'm leaving it to you. Among everyone, Chi Duo has the richest adventure experience, so she is the most worthy of trust. Give it to me. Saying that, Chi Duo led everyone to one of the forks in the road. However, Lucario did not move, just looked at Xiaozhi. Lucario, until you find Pikachu, I will always be with you. I will replace him, to protect you. Xiaozhi looked serious, then smiled brightly. You are really a good Pokémon. I believe that Yulong will never abandon such a good guy like you for no reason. When we find Pikachu, I will take you to find the Pokémon from back then. Tell the truth. With that said, Xiaozhi released Corphish and Grovyle. At this time, the 3 divine pillars had already followed, and Xiaozhi ordered 2 Pokémon to use skills to attract the 2 divine pillars. After Lucario was stunned for a short time, he also started running with Xiaozhi. I trust you. Lucario kept these words deep in his heart, and he seemed unable to say such sensational words. Yulongdu. The progress of this strategy is already 100%. If Lucario hadn't followed Xiaozhi in the end, I would have stood on my head to wash my hair. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. I took the photo and I'm waiting for someone to explain to me how to wash my hair. Open black lens bracket. Wallace. Waiting to wash your hair while standing upside down +1, close black lens bracket. Catalia. Although I also think Lucario is likely to follow Xiaozhi, Master Du's poisonous milk is famous. So I am also waiting for you to wash your hair. Open black lens bracket. Yulongdu. Close black lens bracket. Even if you lie to others, you have really lied to yourself. Poisoned milk doesn't exist. He has already taken stock of poisonous milk several times in a row, right? Don't be embarrassed. This time he feels like he can do it. They must be slapped hard in the face. After all, the bond between Lucario and Xiaozhi has gradually deepened. Moreover, Xiaozhi also has the same waveguide as Yulong, so being by Xiaozhi's side is like being by Yulang's side. So, how can Fei Longqi lose? Image 1. After 1 person and 3 Pokémon turned left and right in the cave, they successfully pushed away the 3 divine pillars who had no IQ. But this is inside the World Tree after all, and the 3 God pillars are the guardians of the World Tree. So they probably have their location in their minds. Now I can only keep running and cannot stop. However, on the other side, Mei, Xiaosheng, and Xiaoging were all devoured by World Tree's white blood cells one after another. Before leaving, they also took out their Pokémon advertisement. Only Kiduo escaped with his strong figure, but her face was extremely ugly. Xiaozhi asked him to take good care of Mei and the others, but she watched helplessly as Mei and the others were devoured. Now she doesn't even know how to explain to Xiaozhi. Mei's Pokémon and Xiaoging's Pokémon both looked silently and sadly at the place where Mei, Xiaoging and the others disappeared.
They also watched their trainer disappear without a trace.
Compared to Chi Duo, they were even more sad. Bruno, Turtle, everything was swallowed. It won't be bad end in the end, right? Close black lens bracket.
Sabrina. If Elite Four Bruno had 1/10 more muscles in his brain, he wouldn't have said that. Didn't you see that Xiaoging rockets and others were still there during the 8 Masters journey later? If they were there, Mei, etc. How can anything happen to people? Close black lens bracket.
Lorelei. Ignore him, this guy has a bad mind, and you may get infected if you talk to him too much. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket B. Hey, this is too much, you have already escalated to a personal attack. In image the screen switches to Xiaoji's side. At this time, Xiaoji was making a decision at a fork.
Suddenly, a shout came from one of the forks. That's Pikachu's voice.
When Xiaoji saw this, he ran towards the intersection without thinking. The exit of that road is a ravine between mountains, and intricate blue crystal pillars connect the ravine. And Pikachu is at the exit of the mountain opposite Xiaoji. Pikachu. Pikapi. When one person and one mouse saw each other, the surprise in their eyes almost overflowed. What follows is a classic Mega True Rookie operation. Although there are many blue crystal pillars here, there is a distance of almost 1 or 2 meters between each pillar. Moreover, this ravine is also a wind outlet, and its strong wind speed is no less than that of a normal hurricane. Despite this, Xiaoji can still come and go freely on it. He is as light as a swallow. My family has long been accustomed to this abnormal and normal physique. Oh my god, I can't get used to it at all. Is this an action that humans can do? After a burst of inhuman running, Xiaoji and Pikachu were getting closer and closer. Lucario also looked at Xiaoji with relief. He was finally able to get his friend back. But his master is no longer here. At this moment, something happened. Pikachu kept running. He accidentally lost his grip on the ground and was blown out by the wind. When Xiaoji saw this, without thinking, he jumped up and hugged Pikachu in midair. Then his back was turned to the ground. His hat was also blown out by the wind. Lucario's pupils tightened and he was about to rush over, but someone was faster than him and caught Xiaoji down. The visitor is none other than Shanduo. She tied the cliff with a hook lock, swung directly over to catch Xiaoji, then swung to the entrance of a cave and put Xiaoji down. Miss Chi Duo. Thank you. You're welcome, Pikachu. Pikachu also said hello to Chi Duo, and then interacted intimately with Xiaoji. Since traveling with Xiaoji, we have almost never been apart for such a long time. Lucario and Grovyle also jumped from a distance with Corfish. Xiaoji, are you okay? Faced with Lucario's worries, Xiaoji said with a happy smile. I'm fine. I found Pikachu. Pikapi? Are you talking about him? His name is Lucario, and he is my new friend. Thanks to Lucario for leading the way, I was able to get here. Pikachu heard this and greeted Lucario with a smile. Lucario nodded slightly. Xiaoji didn't lie to him, he thought he would give his life for Pikachu. Judging from the leap of faith just now, there is no way to catch Pikachu if there is even a little hesitation in the heart. So Yulong, does he really have something hidden? At this time, a cute little pink cat floated over, still holding Xiaoji's hat. And Meowth climbed over from the pillar panting and spoke intermittently. Pikachu, has been playing with Mew these past 2 days, I'm so exhausted. Mew, don't you know how to teleport? Why don't you use teleport to bring us here? Facing Meowth's questioning, Mew tilted his head and then covered his face with Xiaoji's hat. Forget it, where are Jessie and James? Chapter 172. Xiaoji is cold again. Ho-Oh photographers are out and about. Advertisement Meowth is already used to Mew's childlike personality.
So when Mew said he forgot to use teleport, he was not alone.
What he wants now is to know where Jessie and James are. Why are there only a dark-skinned woman and a little devil left here? Jessie and the others. Xiaoji hesitated to speak, which made Meowth feel bad. And Chi Duo also had an ugly expression on her face. Actually, Mei, Xiaosheng and the others also. At this moment, Regice and the other 3 divine pillars chased after them again. Xiaoji and Meowth did not have time to ask so many questions. It's better to run first. On the way, Xiaoji then asked Chi Duo, what happened to Mei and the others? Chi Duo looked at Xiaoji and hesitated to speak. Soon someone came to answer her question. As they were running, several more Pokémon formed from orange liquid attacked in front of them. Mei and the others were also absorbed by that thing. What? Xiaoji clenched his fists in disbelief. Mei, Xiaosheng, Xiaoging, all. Could it be that, Jessie and James too? Chi Duo nodded hard. Although I was shocked that this Meowth could actually talk, now was obviously not the time to be shocked. The Jessie and James that Meowth was talking about must be the man and woman who were first devoured. There are only 2 of them left alive now. Xiaoji, let's get out first. After we get out, we will have time to find a way to rescue Mei and the others, this way. Hearing this, Xiaoji suppressed his inner restlessness and chose to escape from World Tree first. If even he falls here, who should save May and the others? Under the guidance of Banks, everyone finally found the exit, just when Lucario was about to jump out of the exit first. Regigigas suddenly ran out of another hole, and tightly bound Lucario, 973. This is the Steel God Pillar, with incomparable power. Even if it is as strong as Lucario, it will not be able to break free for a while. Xiaozhi saw this and wanted to go up to help, but the orange liquid that was everywhere came back. Chi Duo and Xiaozhi didn't notice it at all and were immediately wrapped in it. Xiaozhi. Lucario saw Xiaozhi encountering a crisis and burst out with all his strength. Finally, he freed Regigigas' arms, but it's too late. Xiaozhi and Kiduo released all their Pokémon before finally disappearing. Finally dissipated completely. Grovyle and Pikachu also tried to pull Xiaozhi out of the quagmire-like orange liquid. But their power seemed so insignificant, their trainer just disappeared under their noses. Lucario's face showed an expression of disbelief and pain, and he slowly walked to the place where Xiaozhi disappeared. The one who settled the feud with him and was willing to become friends with him. And the boy who had the same waveguide as Mr. Yulong, disappeared. Being regarded as a virus by World Tree, it is naturally self-evident what the final outcome will be. First Yulong, then Xiaozhi. Why? Why the people he trusted left one after another? Swellow, Fanpy. Pikachu, their eyes began to moisten, and 2 lines of clear tears slowly flowed from their eyes. They cried. Xiaozhi. Woohoo. I feel so uncomfortable watching Pikachu cry. Xiaozhi, come back quickly. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. It shouldn't take long, Xiaozhi will be back soon. Catalia. In fact, after all calculations, Xiaozhi should have died again this time, right? He probably came back to life for some reason later. Mega Rookie is really in trouble.
Cynthia. Pikachu is crying so sadly in the picture. If Xiaozhi really leaves, it will be difficult for him to live alone, right? Close black lens bracket.
Professor Oak. Yes, the bond between Xiaozhi and Pikachu makes it impossible for them to leave each other again. It is hard to imagine how much shock Lucario will suffer if he learns the truth. Close black lens bracket. If Lucario didn't know the truth and kept it in the dark, that would be too pitiful for Lucario. It was obvious that Yulong sacrificed his life for him and the city. But if Lucario learns the truth, knowing that the master he had always blamed was sacrificed for himself. So what kind of blow is it to Lucario? Alas, it's really difficult. Professor Oak Laboratory backyard. Pikachu couldn't help but hug Xiaozhi tightly. This is the 3rd time he has lost Xiaozhi. Fortunately, it's always in the video, and Xiaozhi is resurrected. No, he seemed to have experienced Xiaozhi's death once, but the memory of that time was erased. Well done. Well done. Whoever wants to bear this kind of pain will bear it. I don't want to bear it at all. Xiaozhi looked at Pikachu's appearance and couldn't help but feel relieved. Pikachu. Don't worry, I will never die before I become a Pokemon Master. Pikapi. Advertisement. Yes. You can't die even after becoming a Master.
The originally very solemn atmosphere was relaxed by Xiaozhi, and everyone burst into laughter at Xiaozhi's words.
At this time, the image also began to change. Mew looked at the crying Pikachu and didn't know how to comfort him for a moment. He brought the hat Xiaozhi left to Pikachu. Pikachu was in tears and kept gesticulating. Even if Meowth doesn't translate, the audience knows what Pikachu wants to say. I don't want a hat, I just want Xiaozhi back. Mew couldn't bear to see Pikachu looking sad. He closed his eyes and began to mobilize the power of the World Tree. The World Tree has a symbiotic relationship with him, in other words. He is the World Tree, and the World Tree is him. Under Mew's mobilization, the entire World Tree glowed with bright green light. The crystal clear blue crystal has also turned into the normal green of emerald. Then, under Pikachu's blank gaze, 2 green liquids slowly emerged from the ground. Kido and Xiaozhi reappear in the sights of many Pokémon. Many Pokémon were instantly overjoyed. Pikachu hugged Xiaozhi directly with scattered tears. A tragedy thus resolved. According to Meowth, Mew caught up before World Tree digested them. He told Yggdrasil that they were not bacteria, that's why World Tree released them. After the two learned the truth, they were very grateful to Mew.
Yulongdu. I didn't expect that this tragedy would be resolved faster than it appeared. Close black lens bracket.
Wallace. Thanks to little Mew. He is cute, kind-hearted, and powerful. How could there be such an invincible shell smash dream like Mew in the world? Close black lens bracket. Catalia. Ah, I really want a little Mew to soothe my young heart. Close black lens bracket. Sabrina. Didn't you still want Mewtwo before? A woman who likes the new and hates the old. Close black lens bracket. Catalia. Isn't this the case that Mewtwo has no hope? Mew is also pretty good. Close black lens bracket. Sabrina. Stop dreaming. Even if Mew wants to choose trainer, he must choose Xiaozhi. Whether it is Pikachu or Xiaozhi. Mew loves it very much, can't you see? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Catalia. Close black lens bracket. The girls at this Saffron City gym have such vicious mouths. Can't she be allowed to comfort herself? Do we have to show her this cruel reality? Just as everyone was laughing and discussing, the scene in the video changed again. In the image, everyone is happy because Xiaozhi and Qi Duo were rescued. In other places, Xiao Sheng and the others have also been saved. But when Mew wanted to give the hat to Xiaozhi, suddenly he couldn't float and fell down. And around them, the crystal that had turned into crystal blue suddenly turned into dangerous orange. But this time, the orange Lucas didn't attack them again. Instead, it turned into black like ashes and began to slowly dissipate. The two of them looked at this doomsday situation and quickly took back their Pokémon. Xiaozhi carefully picked up Mew, while Qi Duo started to contact banks to ask what happened. The conclusion is, the World Tree has taken drastic immunization measures against invaders like them. Causes energy transmission in the body to stop, abbreviation, allergy. If this continues, the World Tree will be destroyed. Mew will also die together. Yu Longdu. Is it true or false? How many people did Yggdrasil capture using white blood cells? Are they about to die due to allergic reactions? Why are they more fragile than humans? Close black lens bracket. Drasna. Maybe this is why the World Tree is still protected by the 3 divine pillars even though it has white blood cells. His self-defense system does not seem to be very perfect. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. Just as one wave subsided, another wave started again. I don't know how to solve this situation now. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Is there a possibility, maybe, that Lance's poisonous milk has taken effect? Yulongdu. You have nothing to persecute, right? Are you here to persecute me again? When did I poison my milk? Close black lens bracket. Diantha. I didn't expect this matter to be resolved so quickly. I don't know who said this. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. Close black lens bracket. The idiom, too many words lead to mistakes, should really be slapped on his forehead. Don't predict in the future unless necessary, NND. In image, the entire World Tree seems to have begun to burn.
Thick black smoke began to emerge from all over the World Tree. Even the city of Ordland, which is very far away from the World Tree, was affected.
The blue crystals around Madison suddenly turned orange and began to burn away. In response, she looked at the World Tree in the distance with worried eyes. Are those children? Are they in danger? In the World Tree, Mew became depressed, and Xiaozhi didn't know what to do for a while. Mew, who was almost fainting, forced himself to hold up the last bit of strength in his body and floated in the air. And he shouted at Xiaozhi and started to move his body.
Mew told us to follow. Xiaozhi said and followed Mew immediately.
Not long after, everyone followed Mew to a place. As soon as Mew arrived, he couldn't hold up and fell down.
Advertisement. Xiaozhi quickly caught Mew and then began to observe the surrounding situation.
Mew brings them here. This place we arrived shines much brighter than other places in the World Tree. In the middle of this place, an orange-red crystal is constantly emitting red energy. What is this place? Roar. Lucario suddenly saw a crystal on the side and let out a roar unconsciously. He doesn't even know how to use telepathy anymore. What's wrong, Lucario? That is. Lucario charged out at extremely fast speed and came to a crystal. In front of the crystal hangs a pair of cool gloves.
Guzzi carefully picked up the gloves, and the shock in his eyes was clearly visible.
He looked at the crystal in front of him and found that there was a human-shaped outline inside the crystal. An idea appeared in his mind. Could it be? Lucario, what is this glove? These are Lord Yulang's gloves. Yulang. Why are Yulang's gloves here? Hearing this, Lucario closed his eyes and activated the waveguide power in his body. Cyanwood-colored light appeared on Lucario's hand. Immediately afterwards, the crystal in front of him began to glow slightly, and a blue figure clearly appeared in front of the two of them. This is the waveguide power of the person inside the crystal resonating with Lucario's waveguide power. Lord Yulang. Why are you here? It seems that Yulang came to this place after imprisoning you. This is probably a place similar to the heart of the World Tree, but what exactly does Yulang want to do here? What? Qi Duo said somewhat speculatively, and Xiaozhi has already started to take action. Because he saw the Flower of Time, Xiaozhi hugged Mew with one hand and touched the Flower of Time with the other hand. The huge waveguide power is passively guided out. The Flower of Time blooms, and the original image appears in front of Lucario and Xiaozhi. The surrounding scene became dim, and the brave Yulang reappeared in front of them. Mew. Come out. I know you're here, yo. A voice came from the sky, and a big bird with colorful feathers sat on the cave above. This is Ho-Oh, open black lens bracket Yulongdu. Wakao, Ho-Oh. Close black lens bracket, Professor Oak. Legend has it that Mew has the genes of all Pokémon and can transform into the appearance of all Pokémon. This Phoenix Master should be transformed by Mew. Close black lens bracket. Will. Mew is so naughty. He turned into Ho-Oh and ran around. When others saw him, they thought he had really met Ho-Oh. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. But the Ho-Oh Xiaozhi met must be real, after all. It sheds hair, haha. Professor Oak backyard. Peeved, Cynthia, what you said, kind of ruins your aloof persona. Diantha saw what Cynthia said, he couldn't stop himself for a moment and laughed out loud. 3.9. Aloof persona. When have I ever been aloof? I've always been very approachable, okay? That's necessary. Miss Cynthia's passion for me is almost burning my heart. Stop burning, take a good look at the inventory. When Xiaoging was getting sick every day, Misty grabbed Xiaoging's ears with great precision. Drag him back to his original position, Crimson. The teacher just got sick, but I still can't get used to it. If Xiaogang from their world saw Xiaogang from this world, would he want to dig a hole and go in?
In the image, just as Professor Oak guessed, the Ho-Oh above was transformed by Mew.
After a burst of light, Mew returned to his original appearance.
Then he came to Yilang. Mew, I know that this world tree is one. Please lend me your power.
Meow. I am willing to use all my waveguides to prevent this war. Relying on my waveguides and the magical power of the world tree, I can definitely do it. As long as I can stop this senseless war, even if I sacrifice my life, so what, let's start Mew. The power of waveguide exists in my heart. Yulong placed his left hand on his heart and the palm of his right hand faced Mew. With his loud shout, the gems of his gloves emitted the dazzling Lucas. Immediately afterwards, an extremely powerful waveguide force was released from the palm of his hand. The power of the waveguide turned into a ball dozens of times larger than Mew, covering the bottle with Mew. The majestic power acts on Mew and fills the entire world tree. Receiving the blessing of Yulang's terrifying waveguide, Mew also began to mobilize the power of the world tree. With a burst of light, the image ends. What happened next? You know what happened even without looking at it. Chapter 173. Xiaozhi wearing gloves is a veritable waveguide hero. Advertisement in the image. Lucario looked at the slowly disappearing influence, his palms trembling uncontrollably. The stoic eyes that had always been there became extremely shaken. Yulong. In order to stop the war, he came here and even sacrificed his own life. He came to Yulong, who had turned into crystal, and knelt on the ground helplessly. Lord Yulong. I'm sorry. Yulong inside the crystal is no longer alive. The reason why it was still resonating with his waveguide just now is because there was still some waveguide left for unknown reasons. But Yulang's life has indeed disappeared. Mew slowly woke up from Xiaozhi's arms, and then spoke to Lucario sickly. Are you saying that you want to assist me with my power to repair this world tree this time? Meow. Although Mew is not very smelling salts now.
But he also knew how huge a waveguide would be needed if he wanted to repair this world tree.
I'm afraid Lucario has to sacrifice himself to repair the world tree. The kind-hearted he was a little hesitant. Give it to me. Wait Lucario. If this happens, you will be like Yulong. Xiaozhi wants to dissuade Lucario, but looking at Lucario's eyes, his voice slowly weakened. It was a look of determination and determination, looking toward death without rebirth. That look seemed to say, now that my trainer has left, what's the point of living here? Pikachu, you have to protect Xiaozhi well, don't be like me. Back outside the world tree, Lucario once told Xiaozhi to never abandon Pikachu. Because he saw Yulong in Xiaozhi. But now, the truth is not that Yulong abandoned him, since he sacrificed his life to prevent the war. Then it is impossible to imprison him because you want to abandon him. The biggest possibility is to protect him. Therefore, now Lucario will tell Pikachu to protect Xiaozhi. Don't be like him and let his trainer die alone without knowing anything. The power of waveguide. In my heart, Lucario faced Mew with his palm and released all his waveguide power. Just 03, compared with the power of Yulang's waveguide in the image. His waveguide power seems to be more than 10 times weaker. Yulongdu. No way. Could it be that Lucario will sacrifice? Diantha. Lance, you are poisoning me again. Forget it, no more jokes, the current situation is indeed not optimistic. If this continues, Lucario will definitely die. 1. Drasna. That's true. I'm afraid, even Lucario's waveguide alone may not be enough. Close black lens bracket. Kato. I discovered just now that the light from Lucario's waveguide can be seen from the size of the aperture when it is diffused. Is it nearly 10 times smaller than Yulong? Close black lens bracket. Sabrina. Not only in appearance, but also in reality, is that guy named Yulong really a human? Close black lens bracket. Catalia. Got it. It turns out that the reason why Xiaozhi behaves as a non-human is because he was also a non-human in his previous life. That kind of waveguide power is not Dimension Championship level. Even the normal divine beasts can compete with it. Bar. Close black lens bracket. Bruno. Got it. Let me tell you how Yulong got in when facing the layers of guards in the world tree. It turned out that he hit it directly. Lucario can suppress the 3 pillars with just one Pokémon. Yulong is several times more powerful than Lucario. It's not a problem for Lang to suppress the 3 divine pillars with one hand. Close black lens bracket. Brandon. What Bruno said makes sense. It's rare that Bruno is smart for once. Professor Oak. After all, that is the power of the waveguide that helped Mew calm down a war. It is natural to be able to defeat the 3 divine pillars. But How much power of the waveguide does Mew need now to repair the world? Where is the tree? Close black lens bracket. Everyone is a little worried if Lucario exhausts the power of the waveguide used by his life and cannot repair the world tree. So what should we do? Orodron City, Queen Eileen and her maids are watching the video in the castle. However, beside Madison, there is a blue canine Pokémon. This Pokémon is none other than Lucario. Lucario is now looking intently at the screen hanging in midair. In fact, he had already woken up in the image of Xiaozhi entering Orodron City. It was none other than Tiandao Inventory who woke him up. After waking up again, he was actually able to break out of the seal directly, but the picture he saw inside the scepter. Let his restless heart calm down first. Within the scepter, he can also see the outside image. The story in the image was undoubtedly his story, and he wanted to see what it was all about. As the scene played, he had many ups and downs of emotions. In the end, the meaning was suppressed. Moreover, he gradually recognized the young man named Xiaozhi. Lucario cannot see the bullet list. When the story came to the end and he saw Yulong in the world tree in the image. Advertisement, he couldn't help it, jumped out directly from the scepter, startling Madison and the others. Then they accepted the fact that Lucario suddenly woke up, and watched the images on the screen with Lucario. Lucario knows his own strength very well. If you want to help Mew repair the world tree, it's simply impossible to do it with his waveguide power. The only result of this going on is that he and the world tree will perish together. Unless someone helps. In the image, Lucario tried his best to condense the waveguide, but as soon as the waveguide wrapped around Mew, it stopped. Finally it broke suddenly. Lucario looked troubled. It's just my waveguide. I can't repair the world tree. Damn it. In the end, there was nothing he could do to save it? Lucario, you said that my waveguide is the same as Yulang's, right? What? Xiaozhi, what do you want to do? Xiaozhi's expression condensed. He took the glove on the side and put it on his hand. Pull slightly with both hands, tighten the gloves, then close your eyes and open them outward. I can definitely do it. Yulong, lend me your strength. Xiaozhi murmured, trying his best to mobilize the waveguide in his body. Yulang's gloves gave off a faint luster. These gloves were originally a tool to assist in the use of waveguides. With the help of the gloves, Xiaozhi, who had never felt the waveguide, was finally able to benefit from his huge potential. Dig out a little waveguide. As Xiaozhi concentrated and exerted his strength, dots of blue starlight appeared in front of Xiaozhi's hands. Pikachu. Pikachu looked at Xiaozhi worriedly. The scene of Yulang's sacrifice just now is still vivid in my mind. If Xiaozhi had done the same thing as Yulong. Although somewhat selfish, Pikachu wants to stop him. He couldn't watch his closest friend and favorite trainer end up with the same fate as Yulong. No, Xiaozhi. You saw what happened to Yulong just now. If you do this, you will also. Xiaozhi interrupted Chi-Duo directly and said, once the world tree collapses, the Pokémon inside the world tree, and Mew will all perish. If we don't do it now, when will we wait until we do it? I can do it. Please, just this time, just succeed once, explode, all my waveguide power. Drink ah. With Xiaozhi's firm belief, the power of the wave body in his body seemed to respond. The power that was deep in Xiaozhi and had never been unearthed began to surge up, finally. A huge cyanwood-colored light ball appeared in front of Xiaozhi's hands. Its power is even greater than Lucario's. Upon seeing this, Lucario had time to think, and quickly began to gather the power of his waveguide. The waveguide power of the two collided together, like magnet normal, and immediately merged. Finally, the power of the waveguide expanded again and acted on Mew. Yaozan. It's hard. Unbelievable. Is Xiaozhi really the reincarnation of my ancestor? Otherwise, there is no way to explain that Xiaozhi would have such huge power. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Catalia. Who are you? Close black lens bracket, Yaozan. I am a descendant of Yaolang. I am currently training on Iron Island in the Sinnoh region. In fact, I can also use the power of the waveguide, but I am ashamed to say that I have been training for a long time. Waveguide is not as fishy as Xiaozhi. Lucian. Then, according to your guess, if Xiaozhi can exert the power of the waveguide in the image, what level of Pokémon can he be invincible against? Close black lens bracket. Yaozan. I don't know about the championship level, but the elite level should not be able to beat ancestor Xiaozhi. Close black lens bracket. Xiaozhi. I think the reason why I can emit such a powerful waveguide power in the image is because of the help of gloves, right? And don't call me the ancestor of Xiaozhi. I am Xiaozhi. Not yours ancestor. Close black lens bracket. Yaozan. Even so, your waveguide power is stronger than mine under normal circumstances, let alone the unfathomable potential. If there is a chance, I want to give you the cultivation method of waveguide power. That is a unique skill that belongs to our family and is not passed down to others. Close black lens bracket. Yaozan. If it were Xiaozhi's ancestor, he would definitely be able to recreate the glory of Yulang's ancestor. Close black lens bracket. What's going on? He, a 10-year-old kid, somehow became someone else's ancestor. There has to be a limit to how outrageous it is, right? This person named Yashwen is a bit of a dead-brained Yazzie. In the image, as one person and one dog continue to instill the power of waveguide, Mew's complexion seems to be improving. However, with the output of the waveguide power, blue lightning began to appear on Xiaozhi and Lucario's bodies. This is a sign that your body is about to collapse. The power of the waveguide is not only the power of fighting, but also the power of life. If the power of the waveguide is consumed excessively, it itself will die. This is how Yulong dissipated. Kito's murmur reached everyone's ears. Pikachu looked at Xiaozhi with even more worried eyes. He was also struggling in his heart whether to knock Xiaozhi away now. This may very well result in Xiaozhi's efforts falling short. Advertisement, but in a short period of time, let him see Xiaozhi die for the second time. For Pikachu, it is even more difficult to accept. After hearing Chi Duo's words, Xiaozhi was unmoved and even increased the output of his waveguide power. Xiaozhi. He has already started working hard to cure World Tree. Drake. The young man's character is so upright and kind. Close black lens bracket. Professor Kukui. Xiaozhi is such a person, even though I don't meet Xiaozhi now, through the screen. I can feel a sense of intimacy with Xiaozhi. It must be his character that has infected me. Close black lens bracket. Sabrina. There is no need to judge Xiaozhi's character, he is the kindest guy in the world. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Not only for Pikachu, but also for Pokémon he has never met before, Xiaozhi will risk his own life. This kind of Pokémon-loving character is indeed the first. Unseen before, unparalleled. Close black lens bracket, dandy. I admit that when it comes to my love for Pokémon, I cannot compare to Xiaozhi. When it comes to loving Pokémon, I would like to call Xiaozhi the strongest, close black lens bracket. In another sense, Emperor Dan gave up his position as the strongest. When it comes to the love for Pokémon, in fact, no one in the world feels that their love for Pokémon is as strong as anyone else. But if you compare it with Xiaozhi, everyone in the world admits that their love for Pokémon does not reach the level of Xiaozhi. He risked his life for Pokémon over and over again, and he was just a kid in his early 10 years. Before I was 11 years old, I had died 3 times including parallel worlds. You might die a 4th time this time, of course, even if Xiaozhi dies again. They believe that there will definitely be mysterious beasts who will help and resurrect Xiaozhi. You said so, Ho-Oh, otherwise, where would there be Xiaozhi's journey? In image Xiaozhi's every move was watched by Lucario. The young man's figure seemed to gradually overlap with that of his former master. Lucario looked at the green light slowly emanating from Mew's body, and then forcefully raised his last bit of strength. 117 slammed into Xiaozhi. Boom. Xiaozhi was knocked out, the gloves on his hands fell off, and the waveguide power of his body stopped outputting instantly. Lucario. You? Xiaozhi looked at Lucario in disbelief. What did he want to do? The rest. Me alone. Is enough, are you stupid? If I come with you, maybe both of us can survive. But it is also possible that both of them will die. Xiaozhi. You still have Pikachu, and your friends, and I have nothing left, just let me finish my job, the last thing to do. Let's do it. The power of waveguide exists in my heart. As Lucario shouted, all the waveguide power in his body emerged. All of it was infused into Mew's body. Under the infusion of so much waveguide power, Mew's complexion completely improved. And the whole body emits a green light full of vitality.
Then, Mew threw himself into the red light pillar at the center of the World Tree.
The green light on his body spreads to the entire World Tree, even around the World Tree. Time and the world seem to have turned green, just like how they stopped the war back then. When the green light completely spreads, the World Tree has returned to its original state. Xiaoging and the others came to the outside of the World Tree and looked at the restored scenery outside, showing a happy smile. They knew that this must be what Xiaozhi and the others did. And Meowth also successfully reunited with Jesse James. Only when you lose it do you know how to cherish it.
Meowth misses Jesse and James very much now. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. What a beautiful world. Close black lens bracket.
Open black lens bracket Wallace. Elegant and beautiful, this is the world we live in. Close black lens bracket. Catalia. Everything seems to be back to normal. Xiaozhi found Pikachu, Lucario learned the truth, everyone is happy. Cynthia. If Lucario is okay, everyone should be happy. Close black lens bracket. Professor Kukui. Alas, Lucario is also a spiritual person. Xiaozhi just said that if they work together, maybe both of them can save their lives. This is terrible. Maybe it's because Xiaozhi's waveguide is surprisingly powerful. Professor Kukui. But Lucario seems to have lost the desire to live. What he wants now is probably to return to his trainer. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Diantha. Alas, Lance, you have committed a heinous crime. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. Close black lens bracket. This ending is really a path he never imagined. Who would have thought that Lucario would die trying to save Yggdrasil? Although he has not disappeared yet, but there should not be much time left before his death. The important thing is This inventory actually has a second bit ending, it's really too much. Chapter 174. An encounter spanning thousands of years. Yulong and Lucario reunite. Advertisement. Everything seems to be back to its original beautiful state.
Except the departing Lucario. In the image, the screen switches to where Xiaozhi is.
Kido asked Banks not to spread the information about World Tree. She finally decided to protect the nature here, although it might be a little late. Lucario's whole body is glowing with blue light. From time to time, a string of blue sparks appeared on his body. This is a precursor to physical breakdown. Lucario leaned against the crystal that sealed Aaron. He has decided that if he wants to leave, right here, let's go. Xiaozhi came to Lucario and looked at him worriedly. Xiaozhi, just when Lucario was about to say something. His overflowing waveguide spread to the flower of time on the side. The flower of time blooms and the surrounding light becomes dim. A figure suddenly appeared next to Lucario. That figure was none other than Yulong. Yulong was lying next to Lucario, with blue lightning flashing from his body like Lucario's. Like Lucario, he overused the power of the waveguide. Lucario, I'm sorry, under the circumstances, I could only imprison you, otherwise, you would be with me no matter where I go. In the end, I'm afraid you will end up with the same fate as me. Yulong looked into the distance with an apologetic look in his eyes and murmured on his lips. When he was about to die, he still thought about his dog. Lucario's mind was shaken, and he wanted to touch Yulong, but what he touched was indeed a piece of air. This is just an illusion after all. Lord Yulong, it's me who should say I'm sorry. I would actually doubt you. Unfortunately, Yulong could no longer hear Lucario's words of regret. But even if Yulong knew about it, I'm afraid he wouldn't take it to heart. After all, Lucario was absolutely right about this matter. It's just that he said Lucario in prison without saying a word.
Yulong, who appeared as the flower of time, took off the glove on his hand and gently placed it on the crystal.
Exchanging my life for the end of a meaningless war, my life is enough. Of course, I have no regrets, although my life is not long-term, but in that castle, I spent a wonderful time with you and Her Highness Lin, and I successfully protected you. That period of time was proof that I was alive. Thank you, Lucario. I was really happy during the time I spent with you. Teach you, train with you, eat, chat with you. If possible, I really want to see you again, my friend.
At this time, Lucario was already crying like a puppy. Normal.
Feelings of regret kept hitting him. Lord Yulong. He considers me a friend. He said the time he spent with me was wonderful. But I doubted him. I suspected that he betrayed me and betrayed the castle. I'm sorry, Lord Yulong. Clear tears flowed down Lucario's increasingly blurry face. Orodron City in the real world. Lucario has been with Lucario normal in the video, and tears are flowing out crazily. His resolute face was full of pain and distortion. He did not exhaust his power to Lucario on the screen and was about to dissipate.
But the pain in his heart made him want to disappear from this world immediately.
The damage to his soul is probably much more than that of Lucario in the image.
Lucario, are you okay? Your Highness Madison, I really want to find Mr. Yulong.
Looking for Yulong. But Yulong has already. Do you want to go with Yulong? No, absolutely not. When Madison heard this, her expression changed instantly.
The so-called following Yulong, doesn't it mean following Yulong?
Lucario, leaving in the image was forced. In the real world, you're living well. Don't think about those stupid things. You are the friend that Yulong sacrificed his life to protect. Lucario. Thousands of sentences are not as effective as one sentence. Madison's words successfully made Lucario give up the idea of committing suicide. Yes, his life was saved by Yulong, if he committed suicide like this.
So, what does Yulong's contribution count? But, it's really painful for him to live now.
Mr. Yulong, Xiaozhi, what should I do? Madison looked at Lucario with a complicated expression. Better to die than to live, even if Lucario is in great pain. She couldn't just watch Lucario commit suicide. I just hope that time can erase everything. And, it's not over yet in the video, advertisement. In this review, Xiaozhi and Lucario are undoubtedly the ones who have the most roles, right?
So it stands to reason. Lucario may be able to get the reward from this inventory.
What if? Image 1 after Yulong said the last word, friend, he disappeared. As for whether the effect of the Flower of Time has disappeared, or whether Yulong has really disappeared.
This is unknown. Anyway, there is still a little bit of Yulong's remaining waveguide inside the crystal.
This is probably the last remaining power of the World Tree for Yulong. Its purpose is unknown. In short, now, Yulong has been confirmed to be dead. City Lucario. 012803203 Filu 204,082,200. He knelt in front of the waveguide containing the Yulong crystal, constantly regretting it. I am so stupid, Master Yulong. I am not worthy to be your follower at all. Xiaozhi couldn't stand it anymore, grabbed Lucario's hand and said. Don't say that, Lucario, you are also a well-deserved waveguide hero. Yulong used his power to save the world, and you used your power to save the World Tree. Just as Yulong said. He imprisoned you because he didn't want you to take the same path as him. But after 1,000 years, the guidance of fate still led you to embark on the path of a wave guide hero. Facts have proved that you, like Yulong, are both worthy of being a wave guide hero. Xiaozhi. Lucario wanted to say something to Xiaozhi, but strong blue electricity flowed through his body again. He leaned directly against the crystal helplessly. Lucario, please don't die, despite knowing that Lucario was going to die. But, when the thing came, Xiaozhi still couldn't accept it. We have obviously become friends. It is clear that Lucario has solved his misunderstanding about Yulong. But why? Why do you do this to him? I didn't die. I just went to Lord Yulang's side. Xiaozhi. I'm sorry, I can't partner with you, but I believe, as a wave guide hero, you will definitely meet your Lucario. I am very happy to be friends with you. After Lucario took his last breath and spoke, his body completely disappeared. But where he was, a blue ball of light appeared. This is Lucario's remnant waveguide. At the same time, in the crystal containing the Yulong waveguide, its waveguide also broke out of the crystal, and then surrounded each other with Lucario's waveguide, and slowly flew to the top of the world tree. Xiaozhi. That one just now was. Chi-Duo looked at the waveguide that had just broken through the crystal with some surprise. Isn't Yulong dead? Why is his waveguide still moving? And he also took Lucario's waveguide with him. Xiaozhi murmured as he looked at the waveguides that disappeared in pairs after flying to the top of the world tree. I think the reason why Yulang's waveguide never left is because he has been waiting for Lucario. Catalia. Woo-hoo-hoo, why did such a good dog just leave like this? My handkerchief got wet from crying. Close black lens bracket. Drasna. This heavenly inventory even deceived the old ant into crying. Lucario must have gone to find his Lord Yulong. Close black lens bracket. Kearney. It must be. Lucario will definitely be able to find Yulong and reunite. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. I hope that in that world, Lucario and Yulong can have a good trip together. Close black lens bracket. Professor Kukui. Since there is Xiaozhi, the reincarnation of Yulong, in this world, then I believe that somewhere in this world, there must be the reincarnation of Lucario. By then, they will definitely meet again. Close black lens bracket. Dandy. You are right. I believe that the reincarnated Lucario will definitely follow Xiaozhi to the top of the world. Close black lens bracket. People did not believe in the so-called reincarnation in the world before. But after it was verified that Xiaozhi was the reincarnation of Yulong, I had to believe it even if I didn't believe it. Rather, they just want to believe it. In this way, in this era, Lucario's reincarnation will definitely have a fateful encounter with Xiaozhi. Although this is just their imagination. At this time, the image on the screen still has not ended. In the image, Xiaozhi and Chi-Duo came out of the periphery of the world tree. Everyone was very happy that Xiaozhi and the others were safe, but when they saw that Lucario beside Xiaozhi was missing, they all had a bad feeling. Xiaozhi looked at the distant sky and put his hand on his heart. Lucario must be with his friends already. The power of waveguide exists in my heart. The picture gradually dimmed. Just when everyone thought the inventory was over, images appeared again on screens around the world. In a dense foggy environment, two figures stood on the cliff. When everyone gradually saw the true appearance of the figure, their expressions suddenly changed. I saw Yulong with a hat on his head standing on the cliff with a smile, and next to him was none other than Lucario. Could it be that Tiandao inventory also needs to explain Lucario's previous story?
You have just deceived them into tears, and now you want to deceive them again.
However, when Lucario took out a chocolate and broke it in half and handed it to Aaron, most people in the world have dumbfounded faces, then he showed an ecstatic expression. That chocolate is the chocolate Xiaosheng gave to Lucario. Advertisement 0, please give me flowers. 0, could it be that Lucario is still alive? The image switched, Xiaozhi and others returned to the queen's palace. Xiaozhi suddenly discovered that it was a portrait of Yulong riding a bicycle alone. It turned out to be Yulong standing on the cliff holding the brave scepter, with Lucario beside him. Xiaozhi's somewhat lonely expression slowly turned into one of surprise. The corner of his mouth showed a hint of a happy smile. Lucario. I met my friend. And the inventory is over, but the last few scenes in the video have aroused widespread heated discussion among people around the world. Finally, Professor Oak, an authoritative expert in the Pokémon world, stood up. Professor Oak. I have some guesses about the last scene in the video. Close black lens bracket. Professor Oak. In the video, the chocolate in Lucario's hand proves that he is not dead. In other words, he was resurrected by some mysterious power. And Yulong also followed Lucario, coupled with the sudden change in the portrait, I have a guess. That is, Lucario and Yulong were probably resurrected by the World Tree and transported back to that era. Resurrected and teleported back to a previous era? Is this really something real-world forces can do? Professor Kukui. Professor Oak, is this possible? Traveling through time and space, coming back from the dead. This is completely beyond the norm, right? close black lens bracket. Professor Oak. In this world, there are Celebi and Dialga who travel through time and space, and there are Ho-Oh and Xerneas who are resurrected, and the world tree, as the foundation of the world, is not a bad thing. There is no such power. Close black lens bracket, Professor Oak. I think Yggdrasil must be grateful for what Lucario and Yulong have done, so it gave them a new opportunity. Close black lens bracket. Professor Oak. The portrait on the video is a good proof. This world. It is not impossible to change the future through the past. Close black lens bracket. Professor Oak's words directly shocked audiences around the world for 30 years. Through the past, changing the future. Is there still such a magical and terrifying power in the world? However, what I didn't expect was that this review ended not with a bad end, but with a happy end. Lucario finds his friend and travels together again. Is there anything better than this? Orodron City. Lucario saw the end of the picture, where he and Yulong were reunited and returned to their previous lives. Even the future pictures have been changed because of this. The dog is so envious. Your Highness Madison, I want to find the world tree. You want to ask the world tree to resurrect Yulong, and then go back to ancient times to live again, right? Madison saw Lucario's thoughts at a glance. Yes, I want to try it. If you ask me, maybe you can. Then you go ahead. Now that we have reached this point, naturally I can't stop you. Come on Lucario, I hope Bo will be with you. Yes. Lucario's eyes are no longer filled with despair. Thinking of the possibility of resurrecting Yulong and returning to his past life. The dog's eyes are filled with bright light. Next, he will embark on a journey to the world tree. He doesn't want to wait for a second. He wants to admit his mistake to Master Yulong in person. Special inventory. The Brave of Waveguide ends here. Close black lens bracket. The winners of this award are Xiaozhi and Lucario. Close black lens bracket. Rewards will be distributed to the 2 personnel with the highest attendance rate. Close black lens bracket. The number of rewardees may increase in the future, so stay tuned. Close black lens bracket. The reward has been distributed, please check it. Close black lens bracket. This time during the heavenly inventory, a beam of light appeared first and enveloped Lucario. Tens of seconds later, the light slowly dissipated, and when Lucario, shrouded in a beam of light, reappeared in front of Madison. The body has become almost nothingness. Lucario, what's wrong with you? How could it be like this? Madison asked with a change of expression. What's going on with this look that's about to disappear? Why does the reward from Tiandao inventory make Lucario disappear? Your Highness Madison, I'm fine. Is this thing called a Tiandao inventory? What a magical power, I think. I don't need to go to World Tree, now. I can go see Lord Yulong. Ps 1. Regarding time paradox, I am just an ordinary college student and I definitely don't understand this stuff. However, in the super time and space movie version of the animation, Xiaozhi changed the future by traveling through the past. Therefore, in this world, there should be a saying that one can travel through the past and change the future. I also believe that Lucario and Yulong got back together in the end. But this does not conflict with the fact that Xiaozhi is the reincarnation of Yulong. After all, even if he is reborn, he will die of old age. Next, we will start the 8 Masters chapter again, and the reborn Lila will come to help. Ps 2. Also regarding chapter 175. Reward distribution. Lucario returns to the past. Xiaozhi awakens the power of Waveguide. Advertisement Orodron City. Lucario said to Madison with a gentle face and a smile. The reward given to me by this god named Tiandao inventory is to resurrect Lord Yulong and allow us to return to the life we lived thousands of years ago. Your Highness Madison, even though the time I spent with you was short, I can feel that you have always been thinking about me. I'm just sorry. My friends and my beliefs were all thousands of years ago, so I can't live here. Hearing this, Madison was so worried that she slowly relaxed. Lucario's appearance just now really scared her to death. It's okay, just be fine. I know you will definitely not be used to living here, but it was something you couldn't do anything about before. But now, since you can choose to go back to live with Yulong, then, just go back. If you meet Ancestor Lin, please help me say hello to her. Well, Your Highness Madison, there is one more thing. You say. Lucario's body became more and more unreal, and his last words reached Madison's ears. Xiaozhi is the reincarnation of Master Yulong, and after I go back to the past, my reincarnation will also appear in this world. Please tell Xiaozhi that Lucario, who belongs to him in the future, will definitely appear in his around. After finishing his words, Lucario turned into little bits of starlight and completely dissipated. In the world tree, Yulang's waveguide also slowly rose into the sky and disappeared completely. They met again thousands of years ago. This time the time was much earlier than in the image. Lucario doesn't need to go through so much pain, it can be said. Everyone is happy. Immediately afterwards, another light fell from the sky and came to Xiaozhi. Everyone at Oak Research Institute has long been accustomed to it. Basically every time the inventory is taken, Xiaozhi can get a wave of rewards. This made Gary next to him extremely envious. When will it be his turn to take stock? Doesn't he deserve to be on the 367 list? No way. After all, he is also the genius who surpassed Xiaozhi before. The light slowly dissipated, and Xiaozhi did not open his eyes, but closed them tightly. It was not easy for anyone to disturb Xiaozhi. This time, nothing appeared on Xiaozhi's hand. It is very likely that a knowledge reward was transferred to Xiaozhi. What is the reward this time? Soon, Xiaozhi opened his eyes, full of surprise. Before anyone could speak, he put his hands in front of him, and a cyanwood-colored ball slowly condensed out. His red eyes narrowed. Or a sphere? Hearing this, everyone's expressions also change. The ball in Xiaozhi's hand is the aura sphere? Has he developed a waveguide? By the way, it must be the reward from Tiandao's inventory just now, which directly developed Xiaozhi's waveguide. Xiaozhi also nodded happily, and then threw the aura sphere in his hand into sky. Then it exploded in sky. Haha. I can also use aura sphere, but I am not very skilled in controlling the power of waveguide, and it has not been fully developed. The reward from Tiandao inventory this time is to initially discover the power of the waveguide in my body, and give me the waveguide exercise method, and the power to sense the reincarnation of Lucario in this world. When everyone heard this, they all felt numb. Are you still not proficient? Are you still not fully developed? The aura sphere has been rubbed out. You have really gone further and further down the inhumane road, haven't you? The rewards given by Tiandao inventory this time are also quite good. Not only did you initially discover the power of waveguides, but there is also a waveguide exercise method. The most important thing is to get the last one, to find the power of Lucario's reincarnation. Misty asked curiously, isn't Lucario still alive in this world? How can we find Lucario's reincarnation? Xiaozhi's face froze with joy when he heard this. I don't know either, but I can feel that there is a force calling me in a distant place. This should be the reincarnation of Lucario, right? But the Lucario of this world. Madison. Xiaozhi, let me tell you news. Lucario has received the reward from Tiandao inventory and has returned to the past to reunite with Yulong. Close black lens bracket. Madison. He asked me to tell you that after he returns to the past, his own Lucario will appear in this world. Lucario, who belongs to you in the future, will definitely appear by your side. Close black lens bracket. Case solved. It turns out that Guzi has left. He has returned to 1,000 years ago. No wonder Xiaozhi feels that he can sense a force calling him now. It turns out that Guzi has been reincarnated. The screen hasn't disappeared yet. The third inventory should appear today. When the inventory is over, I will go find Lucario's Pokémon eggs. Xiaozhi said enthusiastically, but was immediately hit with a cold shock. Have you sensed that Lucario is in Kanto? If he is outside Kanto, do you want to go back and forth that night? There will be no game tomorrow? Xiaozhi. It seems. Makes sense? That's not right? With Mewtwo's help, it should be no problem. If it is in an adjacent region, there is no problem in going back and forth that night. If the region is far away, it may not be possible. Xiaozhi, do you know where the egg is? I don't know. I only know the direction and the specific distance. I can only find out if I keep walking there. Hearing this, Xiaozhi had to give up temporarily and search for Lucario's reincarnation. When the Indigo Plateau Conference is over, we must find him back. He will definitely make Lucario, who is connected to his destiny and values love and justice, stand on top of the world. Oh, by the way, you have to tell Yashwen so that he doesn't have to come over. Xiaozhi suddenly remembered that just now Yashwen said that he would come over when he had time and give him the training method of waveguide power. Advertisement, but now he already has the waveguide exercise method rewarded by Tiandao inventory. He believes that the training method of Tiandao inventory reward is definitely the best in the world today. So it's better not to bother Yashwen to come over. Xiaozhi. Yashwen, in the reward just now, I already got the training method for the power of waveguide. So you don't need to come here. Close black lens bracket. Yazan. Is it the waveguide power training method of Tiandao inventory? That must be an extremely powerful existence. Close black lens bracket. Xiaozhi. I don't know, anyway, it feels pretty good. Catalia. Then won't we be able to see Xiaozhi rubbing the aura sphere in the future? Close black lens bracket. Yulongdu. Trivia. Xiaozhi can now rub aura sphere with his hands. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Bruno. WOC. So awesome. Close black lens bracket Bruno, who was in Miacha Mountain, looked shocked. He only practiced in Miacha Mountain for one day. How come Xiaozhi can even rub the aura sphere? I originally thought that while everyone was watching the inventory, I would practice secretly and shock everyone. So I won't go to Professor Oak's laboratory today. Now it seems. It's broken. If Xiaozhi learns how to practice the power of waveguide from Xiaozhi's hands, maybe he can also rub the aura sphere. Regardless of whether you have qualifications or not, trying is better than not trying at all. Bruno quickly picked up the bucket and started heading to Professor Oak's laboratory. Kato. When will the rules of the Pokemon battle be changed so that trainers can play in person? This must let Dan Emperor see what it means to be the strongest trainer. Dandy. No need, if there is a real trainer PK, I will be the first to admit defeat, close black lens bracket. Emperor Dan said, "Who is going to fight you monsters? A Kaido can compete with Machamp, and a Bruno can compete with Onyx. This last one is even more heavyweight. Aurasphere's Mega Rookie is omnipotent and can break Mewtwo's shield with one punch. Haha, real person PK. If you want to murder him, just say so, no need to beat around the bush. Kibana. Ha ha ha. Even someone as strong as the Dan Emperor will sometimes admit defeat, close black lens bracket. Dandy. How about you try it? Close black lens bracket open black lens bracket Kibana. Close black lens bracket. Although he is a dragon trainer and has muscles all over his body, he also exercises regularly. But fighting against those monsters with real people. Try it or die. Dan Emperor's words made him unable to speak. Super large inventory, Xiaozhi's 8 Masters, Part 2, has officially begun. Close black lens bracket. The subtitle of this issue, Reunion After 1,000 Years, Destined Partners. This inventory may have 2 modes, answering questions and guessing. Please be prepared. Close black lens bracket. Because this inventory is too large, it will be broadcast in segments. Close black lens bracket. Those who make the list will receive rewards. Close black lens bracket, the inventory officially begins. Close black lens bracket. The new 8 Masters inventory has begun. Everyone also stopped noisy and began to concentrate on watching the video. Speaking of which, the subtitle of this issue is worth pondering. The reunion after 1,000 years, coupled with the just concluded inventory of the Bird Braves, could it be said? Is Xiaozhi going to reunite with the reincarnation of Lucario? Xiaozhi also looked at the screen hanging in midair expectantly. Lucario is coming to him, unexpectedly. If there was no intervention from Heavenly Tao, it would take several years for him to meet Lucario. This is really a very long encounter. The video officially begins. The book continues from the previous chapter. After the battle with Dan Emperor, Xiaozhi took the train with Xiaochen and returned to the Kanto region. On the train, Xiaochen explained in detail the rules of the World Championships. Xiaozhi also decided that he must become the 8th Master before the end of the World Championships and meet Dan Emperor on the championship stage. However, lofty ambitions are lofty ambitions. It will take a long time for Xiaozhi to reach the 8th Master. Because now the number of people registering for the World Championships has reached tens of thousands. If Xiaozhi signed up now, his ranking would be directly above 10,000. If you want to go from 10,000 to 8th, even if you win all the way, it will take a long time. Besides, he couldn't exaggerate his ranking to compete. Pokeball level and below, up to 1,000 people can fight against each other. Within the Great Ball level, there are less than 200 people. With Ultra Ball, there is no limit. Therefore, if Xiaozhi wants to move up, he has to find out where the low-ranked trainers are. It's hard to beat. On the same day, Xiaozhi went back to Professor Oak's laboratory and said to his former partners, "Everyone, I have decided to participate in the World Championships. The so-called World Championship is a competition that gathers all the powerful trainers in the world. It is much grander than the conference competition we participated in before. So everyone, I need your power, lend me your power. This time, our goal is the World Championship." Pikachu. Roar. Just advertisement. All of Xiaozhi's Pokémon are excited. Many Pokémon are almost living in retirement in the backyard. They haven't gone out to fight for who knows how long. This time Xiaozhi's appeal reawakened the blood in their bodies. Champion. What a distant word, except for Alola's team. None of the Pokémon present in the backyard have tried Conference Champion. What does it feel like to be the Alliance Champion? But this time, they believe that Xiaozhi will lead them to win. The fighting spirit of many Pokémon shouting together soars into the sky. Professor Oak, who was doing the experiment, was startled, and then smiled with relief. That boy seems to have a new goal. It's been a few days since the grand announcement ceremony, and Xiaozhi hasn't found rival yet. Around 10,000 people are theoretically a lot, but he can't find it. Professor Oak has already applied for the tournament position locator. Only those at the Great Ball level can apply to get things, and all championships with open position permissions can be located to give players positions. However, Xiaozhi is a related account, so he can get it at the Pokeball level. It just takes a few days. Xiaozhi has been wandering around Vermilion City bored these past 2 days. Change the Pokemon on your body from time to time and take them out for a spin. I was almost exhausted at Professor Oak's laboratory, especially Infernape. After evolving, he was already warlike, and he basically beat up all the fire-type Pokémon in the backyard of Professor Oak's laboratory. With the exception of Charizard, none of the other fire Pokémon are rivals of Infernape. The strength of the old spray is still too strong. If Infernape breaks out with Mega Fire, he may still be able to fight. But only Xiaozhi can correctly channel the power of that fierce fire. Therefore, Infernape's strength without Xiaozhi's command is actually greatly reduced. Too far away. In short, now his Pokémon are in desperate need of a hearty battle to quench their thirst. Hello everyone, come on to the championship rival. Xiaozhi was thinking about it in Sakuragi laboratory. Xiaozhi, Xiaozhi. Xiaochen suddenly rushed into Xiaozhi's dormitory and shouted anxiously to Xiaozhi. What's wrong? Gengar is here again. I'll go take a look. With that said, Xiaozhi rushed out of the door, followed closely by Wu Ji. The two came to Laboratory's laboratory and found that everything in Laboratory's laboratory was floating. But except for the two researchers, there is no one else here. Gengar is probably hiding in hiding, although Xiaozhi did not bring Noctowl out this time. But the problem is not big. Noctowl is not the only one who can find Gengar. Gengar, I know you are here, come out. There was no movement around, but those floating things suddenly attacked Xiaozhi. A transparent blue shield appeared in front of Xiaozhi, firmly protecting Xiaozhi and Xiaochen beside him. All the items that were hit were blocked by the shield. Nay. This is another way to apply the power of Waveguide. When I met Mr. Yashuen on Iron Island before 3.9, he used this. Later, after I learned to use the power of Waveguide, I was able to use this skill as well. Skill? Xiaochen tilted her little head and her eyes lost focus. Skills. Are you talking about Pokemon skills? First it was Dragon Dance, then this skill similar to Protect. Xiaozhi, are you really a human? Yazan. It turns out that the future ancestor Xiaozhi has already met me. Unfortunately, I must not know in the image that ancestor Xiaozhi is the reincarnation of ancestor Yulong. Close black lens bracket. Xiaozhi. You told me not to call me ancestor. I'm only 10 years old, 10 years old. Catalia. Speaking of Xiaozhi in the video, he is extremely proficient in applying the power of waveguides, close black lens bracket. Sabrina. Can turn the power of waveguide into a skill similar to barrier. In the video, Xiaozhi's control of the power of waveguide should be no worse than my psychic. I really want to have a try with him. World audience. They almost forgot that this girl named Sabrina is also a complete weirdo. In terms of psychic, it has a power that is not inferior to that of elite or even champion level super Pokemon. One is physically superior to human beings, the other is spiritually superior to human beings. These two people are really going to fight. It's hard to tell who will win and who will lose. To be honest, these two people probably represent the pinnacle of human combat power. Regarding Sabrina's thoughts, Xiaozhi said, I can't fight, I really can't. No matter how strong his body is. If the other party turns him into a doll and manipulates him, there is nothing he can do. Even if you learn the power of the waveguide, the power of the waveguide is biased toward the fighting system, and is defeated by the superpower system. This is a hammer. Xiaobing next to Xiaozhi even got goosebumps. Sabrina is also a big sister in a strict sense, but she is the only big sister he dare not act. Chapter 176. I, Xiaozhi, am a humanoid Pokemon, hand-rubbed waveguide barrier single defense against Gengar. Advertisement. Back in Saffron City, Misty and Xiaogang were turned into dolls by Sabrina and used as toys. Not to mention Xiaogang, Misty also has a deep psychological shadow on Sabrina. But in the end, Sabrina was amused by Haunter. His personality must have changed a lot, right? It should. In the image, after Xiaozhi used the waveguide barrier to block Gengar's attack, he spoke to Gengar again. Gengar. We don't mean any harm. I know that you are a Pokemon that originally lived here. This place has been transformed into Professor Sakuragi's laboratory, so we can't leave. If you feel that we are disturbing you, I can ask Professor Oak to help you find a new place to live. Ginga. After Xiaozhi's words fell, Gengar showed his true form from a short distance away, but his expression did not relax because of Xiaozhi's words. Instead, he became even angrier. He raised his right hand, and on his fingertips, a purple and black shadow ball condensed out. Then I immediately forgot about Xiaozhi. Pikachu stood in front of Xiaozhi instantly and used Orberg's tail to knock away the shadow ball. Pika. Pikachu Pika. Ginga. Pikachu angrily asked Gengar why he attacked his trainer. Gengar's response was that this is his home and no one can drive him away. Xiaozhi, who has used the power of waveguide, can roughly understand what Gengar means. At this time, he was also a little embarrassed. This house was bought by Professor Sakuragi at a clear price. It is understandable that Gengar lost his place to live, but this is not the reason for him to drive away people. After all, this place, strictly speaking, is owned by Professor Sakuragi. Ginga. Gengar threw several shadow balls again. This time his target was not Xiaozhi. But Professor Sakuragi and two researchers were not far away. Fortunately, they reacted quickly and dodged directly. Otherwise, if you were hit by this shadow ball, you will definitely end up in the hospital. Gengar. Don't go too far. We don't mean to hurt you, it's your fault to attack people. If it was Xiaozhi himself who was attacking, it wouldn't matter to him. But Gengar's attack has spread to the laboratory, and even Professor Sakuragi and the others. Xiaozhi couldn't help but yell at Gengar. A powerful Aura of 3 caused Gengar to stop his movements instantly. Xiaozhi is serious, it's really scary, Ginga. After Gengar was stunned, he disappeared in an instant, and Xiaozhi's whole body glowed with blue light. Under the influence of the power of the waveguide, he saw Gengar leaving the laboratory. It seems, it's okay for the time being. Don't worry, everyone, Gengar has left and is fine for now. Hearing this, Professor Sakuragi and the researchers finally felt relieved. Just now, they were afraid that Gengar would turn invisible and send them a shadow ball. If you really get hit, you won't have to go to work for a short period of time. Xiaozhi, how did you know that Gengar left? Xiaochen asked curiously. After all, Gengar is invisible and elusive. Without the foresight skill, there is no way to confirm whether Gengar has left. Could it be that Xiaozhi even knows foresight? I control the power of waveguides and can observe the surrounding waveguides. There are waveguides in any life. Even if Gengar is invisible, his waveguides cannot hide from me, so I can be sure that he has left. What the hell kind of ability is this? I've never heard of it. So being with Xiaozhi every day refreshes her understanding of human beings. Professor Sakuragi raised his eyes and said in shock. I didn't expect you, Xiaozhi, to have mastered the power of waveguide. That's a legendary power. It's even rarer than psychic. It is said that if you want to use the power of waveguide, you must have the potential to do it, and the training method of this power has been lost long ago. How did you? I'm sorry, this is a secret, I won't ask any more questions. Xiaozhi waved his hand and smiled. Professor Sakuragi is not so particular. In fact, this power has just been developed recently. As for the reason, I am not sure, but thanks to this power, I seem to be able to contact people and partners from all over the world. Butterfree, Lapras, Greninja, Fiery Monkey. There are still some little ones that I can't get in touch with. I'm going to find a time to go see them. The more Xiaozhi talked, the more excited he became, thinking about meeting friends he had not seen for a long time. It's like there's a fire burning in my heart normal. There are also some partners, such as Larvitar, Solgaleo and others, although he can't contact them. But he could feel their waveguides even across space. Solgaleo and Naganadel are on the Ultra Wormhole side. And Larvitar never entered his Pokeball, we can only find him by relying on the presence or absence of the breath we spent together. Professor Sakuragi on the side was a little dumbfounded. In addition to being surprised that Xiaozhi independently awakened the power of waveguides and could control the power of waveguides to achieve so many functions.
Advertisement. Xiaozhi was also shocked to have so many Pokemon outside.
Turtle. How many are there in the wild? And Greninja, Lapras, these are extremely rare Pokemon, right? How willing to give it up? Xiaochen looked at her father's shocked look and was very satisfied. Finally, she was not the only one who looked confused. Now, there were 4 confused faces. Yulongdu. Haha. Look at their expressions, they must be shocked by Xiaozhi's BT for the first time. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Don't be embarrassed, Lance, when you first found out, your expression wasn't much better than this. Close black lens bracket. Bruno. That's right, Master Xiaozhi, can't shock you enough. Master Xiaozhi, wait for me, I'm about to go to Professor Oak's laboratory. Teach me the power of waveguide, and I will protect you from now on. Close black lens bracket. Lorelei. People often say that if a person is shameless, he is invincible. You are so shameless that you are becoming more and more invincible. Close black lens bracket. Lian Wu. Bruno is really shameless. Master Xiaozhi, you rely on me, I will come too. Alder. Lian Wu, you were not like this back then. Lian Wu. Don't ask, just ask because my previous teacher was the Alder champion and I learned from him. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Alder. Close black lens bracket. Good job. I ate it myself. Kaidu. If possible. Can you teach me? I also want to learn. The power of waveguide. Kaidu has to be strong throughout her life. She has never thought of asking anyone for anything. But I have to admit that for a fighting lover who dreams of becoming the world's mightiest fighter, Xiaozhi's waveguide power is really attractive, so, as strong as she is, she can't help but want to ask Xiaozhi for advice. Professor Oak's laboratory backyard. Cynthia stopped Xiaozhi from agreeing to Kaidu's idea in the barrage list. Xiaozhi, if you agree to them now, you will only get people from all over the world chasing you. The whole world will want your waveguide training method. Everyone feels that, regardless of whether you have qualifications or not, trying it is better than not trying it at all. And your waveguide power training method is priceless. Even if you are an Elite 4 in a gym in the Galar region, it is not that simple to just have S*X for free. Don't worry, my sister will help you take care of it. A bright but dangerous smile appeared on Cynthia's face. She naturally knows Xiaozhi's character. As soon as Bruno Lianwu and the others opened their mouths, Xiaozhi would probably give them the training method without even thinking about it. After receiving so many kickbacks from Xiaozhi, she would not let Xiaozhi suffer. Now Xiaozhi's interests are her interests. Now Cynthia is a solid supporter of Xiaozhi. Miss Cynthia, your expression is a bit scary. Oh, really, Misty, don't I look good when I smile? Looks great. Misty looked at the bright smile on Cynthia's charming face. How dare she say no? It looks good, but it's a bit dangerous. Cynthia looked at Xiaozhi with her beautiful eyes, and Xiaozhi answered instantly. Miss Cynthia is so beautiful, it must have been a problem with my eyes just now. In the face of biological vigilance instincts, low emotional intelligence is not worth mentioning at all. A small episode passed, and everyone continued to watch the inventory images. As for Kaidu's request, Cynthia said that we will talk about it when we come, and if we don't come, just ignore it. In the image, After experiencing the Gengar incident, the next half-day was uneventful. Soon, Xiaozhi felt something was wrong with him. Everything he does seems to be unlucky. And there was a sinister aura lingering on the surface of his body. Xiaochen saw all this and said to Xiaozhi with some worry. Xiaozhi, have you suffered from Gengar's bad luck? I heard that Pokemon like Gengar can bring curses to trainers. Although you are not his trainer, if you attack him, you might meet him. Xiaozhi was silent for a while and then spoke slowly. Kaharu, don't say that to Gengar. Ghost-type Pokemon are born like this, so we can't blame some of them for conquering Ghost-type Pokemon and thinking that their bad luck is all caused by Ghost-type Pokemon. But I think, is it because they treat their Pokemon badly and doubt their Pokemon that this leads to their so-called bad luck? And there is such a thing as curse. I don't believe it, if there is such a thing. Watch me crush them to pieces. Seeing Xiaozhi's serious look, Xiaochen didn't mention anything about curse. It's just that Xiaozhi was still unlucky when he was at Sakuragi Laboratory, so Xiaochen suggested that he go out to relax.
Xiaozhi naturally agreed happily. When Xiaozhi was about to step out of the gate of Sakuragi Laboratory,
Hidden in Xiaozhi's shadow, Gengar revealed a pair of red eyes. He was ready to come out from Xiaozhi's shadow. He had listened to Xiaozhi's words before. Regarding Xiaozhi's idea of not rejecting Ghost-type Pokemon, he felt that this person could handle it. So he doesn't want to continue to deal with Xiaozhi. The most important thing is that he can't leave Sakuragi Laboratory. However, just when he wanted to get out of Xiaozhi's shadow, a magical force locked him in the shadow. Xiaozhi walked out of the laboratory. The smile on his face became brighter. In the eyes of the audience, this smile looks like a devil's smile. Gengar didn't know what was going on. How could they not? Advertisement on Xiaozhi's shadow. There is a looming blue light. This is Xiaozhi's waveguide experience. That's right, it was Xiaozhi who locked Gengar in the shadow. As a waveguide hero, his body suddenly became cold and abnormal things happened around him. How could Xiaozhi not check it out? And Gengar, who is hiding in Xiaozhi's shadow, is naturally under the power of the waveguide. There is nothing to hide under the influence. However, Xiaozhi also felt that he was not very kind to Gengar before, and he also wanted to expel him from the laboratory. So he was willing to be tricked by Gengar. But, now that I have a rare opportunity, I might as well take Gengar out to relax. It's not that I want to drive him out of Sakuragi Laboratory. Just staying in the laboratory, how can we untie Gengar's unknown knot? So coming out to relax is the best choice. Gengar was tricked by Xiaozhi and had no way to leave. Yulongdu. Why does this smile feel so familiar? Close black lens bracket. Day. Are you familiar? That's what I call familiar. Okay. This is Cynthia's sinister smile. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Cynthia. Who do you call a scumbag? Close black lens bracket, Day. I'm sorry, I was wrong. Close black lens bracket. Day, who was well aware of Cynthia's methods, decisively admitted his mistake. Cynthia, who looks like an iceberg and aloof goddess on the outside, is actually a dark-hearted and cute woman with difficulty in making choices. Only a very few people know this, and Day is exactly the kind of life that knows it. It's not because of anything else, it's mainly because, you know it naturally after playing a lot of battles. So, Cynthia, that is someone he can never afford to offend. Speaking of which, why does Xiaozhi's smile look so similar to Cynthia's? Could it be that Xiaozhi is a direct descendant of Cynthia? In short, everyone got to know Xiaozhi again after a few years. Xiaozhi seems to have changed a lot from the previous image. But there is only one thing that has not changed, and that is the heart that loves Pokemon, 483's heart that has always been filled with passion. Soon, Xiaozhi and Xiaochen arrived at the center of Vermilion City, and they were wandering around aimlessly. On the way, we were chatting about the World Championships. The locator Professor Oak applied for will probably arrive tomorrow. By then Xiaozhi will finally be able to find around 10,000 people to fight against. Suddenly, someone bumped into Xiaozhi, causing him to take several steps back. The cuckold female companion beside Huang Mao quickly supported him and asked if he was okay. Huang Mao rubbed his chest, looked at the guy who hit him, and found that he was just an underage child. But this kid is too strong, his chest is still hurting now. What's going on? Are you still being cursed? That's not the case, it's just a coincidence. It's a coincidence. Huang Mao waved his hands indifferently, hugged the female companion beside him and said, "You don't even know how unlucky I was back then. That must have been 2 or 3 years ago. The battles always failed, and the subjugation was always unsuccessful. I lost sight of things and fell down the stairs. It was really unlucky, but since I threw that guy away, I have been in a good mood. It went very smoothly, haha. I recently reached the 9,500th place in the World Championships. Sure enough, Pokemon like Gengar are just garbage." Huang Mao laughed unbridled. Xiaozhi clenched his fists. For some reason, he heard the word, Gengar, from this guy's mouth. He thought of the Gengar in the shadow now. Could it be that this guy? Ginga. A loud shout came from Xiaozhi's shadow, which startled Xiaochen and hugged Xiaozhi instantly. I met a ghost in broad daylight. Xiaozhi released the power of the waveguide that bound the shadow, and Gengar finally ran out of the shadow. There were some beads of sweat on his forehead, and his blood-red hair was staring at the yellow hair. At this moment, Xiaozhi understood everything. Sure enough, this yellow hair is the culprit who abandoned Gengar. Memories from the past emerge in Gengar's mind and are clearly presented to the audience. A few years ago, before that residence was acquired by Professor Sakuragi, Huang Mao said to Gengar, telling him to wait for him here and come back to pick him up later. However, this wait lasts for several years. For several years, Gengar has been waiting for Huang Mao to come back, and some people even wanted to come into the house. Everyone was scared away by him. This is also the reason why Sakuragi Laboratory was a haunted house before. However, several years have passed, and Huang Mao still has not come to pick up Gengar, to this day. Xiaozhi happened to be taking Gengar with him, and happened to bump into this yellow guy. It can be said that all of this was a fateful encounter. Only now did Gengar realize that he had been deceived. It turns out, his trainer had no intention of coming back from the beginning. It turns out that he was abandoned by his trainer from the very beginning. He actually waited stupidly for several years. Why? Do you do this to him? Is it because he is a ghost-type Pokémon? Chapter 177. The Rockets send another assist and cooperate with Gengar tacitly, Xiaozhi's champion style. Advertisement, Yu Longdu. Another B************ D who abandoned Pokémon, close black lens bracket. Agatha. People who attribute their problems to Pokémon are not worthy of becoming trainers at all. Karen. Haha, do you blame ghost-type Pokémon for bad luck? Should I blame my evil-type Pokémon when I go out to do evil? There's nothing to blame, right? Unova Ghost Department Elite Chandel. Such people just don't read enough and should be sent to education. Close black lens bracket. Damalonki. Alliance has strict regulations for a long time. Anyone who abandons Pokémon indiscriminately will be severely punished. However, this guy probably hasn't conquered Gengar yet, which is a bad thing and a good thing. Close black lens bracket. Naturally, there is no way to convict him of bad things. The good thing is, Gengar is not abandoned now and may still exist in nature. Diantha. This Gengar had similar experiences to Charmander. They were both ordered to wait in one place, but one almost died while waiting, while the other survived unharmed because of his great strength. Close black lens bracket. Hoenn Ghost Elite Phoebe. Fortunately, this is a house. If it were in the wild, even Gengar would be unbearable. This kind of person should really be punished by God. Huang Mao's behavior has been condemned by many Ghost fans and even Ghost elites. It's useless if I don't use it, and I blame it on the Ghost-type Pokémon. This makes Ghost lovers like them unbearable. Huang Mao in the real world looked at the speeches of many big guys on the barrage list, shivering for a moment. Once, when the inventory of heaven came, he also wanted to be on TV. But it's not the way to go on TV. Fortunately, he has neither conquered Gengar nor abandoned Gengar. Otherwise, he will probably end up like the guy named Damien before. It was announced not long ago that Damien, who abandoned Charmander, has been arrested and imprisoned. Together with his relatives in Alliance. He has not committed any crime yet, so he is very lucky among misfortunes. Image 1. He was the beloved trainer before, but in the eyes of Gengar now, he is like the devil normal. 3 years. Just because of his words, I waited for 3 years. No other Pokémon would be able to calm down now. Ginga. Gengar pointed to the sky with one hand, and a huge black-purple shadow ball appeared on his hand. The shadow ball emits terrifying energy fluctuations. Stop Gengar. Even if he did something wrong, you can't attack him directly. This will. Ginga. Gengar couldn't listen to what Xiaozhi said. Rage had already gone to his head. He threw the huge shadow ball in his hands fiercely. Xiaozhi subconsciously put his hands on his waist. A dark blue billiard ball appeared in his hand. Then Xiaozhi hit the energy ball out of his hand and hit the shadow ball thrown by Gengar fiercely. There was a huge explosion. The aftermath of the explosion whirled the yellow hair and scared the cuckold to the point where he sat on the ground and did not dare to move. Xiaozhi, you. Xiaochen pointed at Xiaozhi with a trembling little finger, and the corners of her mouth were trembling. What did she just see? Xiaozhi's hand-rubbing skill blocked Gengar's shadow ball. Isn't she dreaming? What was that dark blue ball just now? Is Xiaozhi a human or a Pokémon? Could it be that Xiaozhi was transformed from Mew? Legend has it that Mew can transform into any Pokémon, even an adult, right? How outrageous. Use barrier with one hand and skills with the other. If Pokémon Battle Trainer can use it. Xiaozhi must be a world champion, although he is also the Alliance champion now. Yu Longdu. This is the expression. This is the shocked expression. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Lorelei. Do you just want to see this expression? JPG? Close black lens bracket. Wallace. Why did a devilish expression suddenly appear in my mind? Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Haha, it's the first time I've seen Xiaozhi's weirdness. He's superhuman. He really has such an expression. I was shocked for a long time at first. Close black lens bracket. Bruno. Aura sphere in the left hand. Waveguide barrier in the right hand. He is indeed Master Xiaozhi. Lorelei. Where have you run to? Haven't you run yet? Close black lens bracket.
Open black lens bracket Bruno. It's almost there, it's almost there, close black lens bracket. At this time Bruno is still on his way to Professor Oak's laboratory.
If someone saw Bruno in the wild, they would find a very strange scene. Because Bruno is basically the only one in the wild, so as Bruno runs. The screen of Tiandao inventory is also moving forward with Bruno. This is what Tiandao takes stock of, the supreme VIP following service. Strive to let everyone see the inventory. Unaware of Xiaochun's shock, Xiaozhi continued to dissuade Gengar. Gengar, I know that guy lied to you and made you very sad, but can you calm down first? If you just attack him, you can't actually do anything except vent your anger. And you? Xiaozhi looked at Huang Mao who was slumped on the ground with a look of fear and said. Guys who cheat Pokémon and abandon Pokémon are not worthy of becoming trainers. It's up to you. Anyway, I just don't want that guy. If I had known better, I wouldn't have conquered him in the first place. If you like him, then you go and conquer him. Li Xiong, let's leave quickly. Huang Mao quickly got up and ran away with his green-haired girlfriend. Xiaozhi clenched his fist tightly, but after all, he still didn't throw Aura Sphere. Mainly because I want to set an example for Gengar. If Gengar wasn't here, with his violent temper, he would really be ready to take action. Advertisement. This guy is no different from the guy who abandoned Charmander before. They are all scum. 9,500 Pokeballs, just wait, Xiaozhi thought fiercely and looked back at Gengar, only to find that Gengar was nowhere to be found. Oops, Gengar must have been hit hard now, I have to find him quickly. With that said, Xiaozhi quickly began to use the power of the waveguide to search for Gengar's aura. This way, Xiaozhi took the lead and ran in one direction, followed by Xiaochun. The other side, Gengar sat on the doorstep of a house in despair. He decided that he would never trust humans again. However, whenever he had this idea, a person's face would appear in his mind. That was a young man who was full of laughter but full of perseverance. The boy didn't mind his identity as a ghost-type Pokémon. The boy didn't hate him because he was causing trouble, he only scolded him when he hurt others. He knew that the young man was doing it for his own good. The trainer said that it would have been better if he had not been subdued. He is also thinking now, if only the trainer who conquered him at the beginning wasn't that guy. If only it was the boy named Xiaozhi. Hey, Gengar, you are here, meow. Just when Gengar was feeling extremely uncomfortable and entangled, a voice came into his ears. He raised his head and found two human figures and cat figures appearing in front of him. This is a combination of 2 humans and a Meowth. What do these 3 guys want to do? Yulong do. Come on, the classic Rockets assist. Day. I guess the Rockets must have helped Xiaozhi to conquer Gengar this time. Wallace. Lance. Your style of painting has begun to change, you used to have a cold personality. Cynthia. Haha, since the appearance of Tiandao inventory, not only Lance, but also the style of all elite champions are actually different, or this is just our original appearance, close black lens bracket. Will. That's true. I don't know why. On the barrage list, I can speak freely, but in the real world, I can't help but maintain my cold persona. Karen. Are you calling that aloof? Aren't you just pretending to be a ghost? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. Will. Close black lens bracket. This Tiandao inventory has indeed changed a lot of things. At least Karen wouldn't have said that about him before. The Elite Four all respect each other and are humble to each other. How could something like this happen? Who is it? Karen taught me bad things. Diantha, or Kiwei. Image 1. The Rockets trio revealed their intentions. That is to conquer Gengar, or to persuade Gengar to do evil with them, euphemistically called revenge humans. It turns out that the Rockets trio saw the whole process of Huang Mao communicating with Gengar on the street. So I thought there was an opportunity to lure Gengar into their team. However, since Gengar no longer trusts humans, how can he trust the Rockets trio? Moreover, Gengar is not completely disappointed with humans now. Just because. That boy barely managed to open up a glimmer of light in his heart. So Gengar completely ignored Team Rocket's intentions and didn't give them a Shadow Ball just to save face. Upon seeing this, Team Rocket immediately launched Plan B. They used the targeted vacuum cleaner they made to take Gengar in. Their method of subduing is as unique as ever. If Gengar is subdued in this way, it will be completely impossible for Gengar to listen to them. It's just that the 3 idiots on Team Rocket didn't seem to think about this aspect at all. Just when the 3 of them thought they were done and were about to leave, the voice of Hidao rang through the sky. Pikachu, Iron-tail, Pickup, silver light flashed across the sky. Team Rocket's proud Gengar harvester was cut in half. Gengar was also successfully rescued. Who on earth dares to ruin our good deeds? Since you asked the question sincerely, we will tell you with great mercy. Team Rocket trio. What the hell, their lines were stolen. The 3 of them took a closer look and saw that it was the little devil they had been following. And the new little girl who appeared next to Xiao Guido. The visitors were naturally Xiaozhi and Xiaochen. When he heard Team Rocket's question, Xiaozhi naturally answered subconsciously. Xiaochen was also deeply impressed by the line and simply accepted it. Naturally, the result was that the Rockets trio became furious. Do you understand copyright? Copyright? This is plagiarism, I'm going to sue you. Jessie pointed at Xiaozhi and said viciously, like a ghost from the abyss. Xiaozhi was naturally not afraid of this. He stood in front of the ghost and opened his hands. Whatever you say, stay away from Gengar, Jin, Ga, why? Gengar looked at the thin figure in front of him, his eyes trembling. Advertisement. Even though he treated him like this, he still came to protect himself. You said stay away, then wouldn't we very shameless? That's it, little Guido, let you see how powerful we are. The Gashapon machine, come on. With that said, the Rocket Trio summoned the Gashapon machine. And twisted out 2 ghost-type Pokémon, Dusclops. Xiaozhi waved his hand, ready to let Pikachu come on, but Gengar jumped directly in front of Xiaozhi. Gengar. Are you going to fight them? Ginga? Gengar smiled ghostly and nodded to Xiaozhi. Now he seems to have regained a little strength. Very good, in that case, it's decided that it's you, Gengar. Little Guido, let me show you how powerful we are. Jessie and James looked at the instructions in their hands and began to command the Dusclops. At the beginning, he used 2 nightshades, and Xiaozhi calmly asked Gengar to dodge them. In terms of speed, these 2 Dusclops can't keep up with Gengar's speed. Just use continuous Shadow Ball. After Gengar dodged Dusclops' 2 jet black waves, Xiaozhi immediately let him start to counterattack. Although he doesn't know this Gengar very well yet, he still knows its strength. That is, the extremely fast Shadow Ball, which can even be fired continuously. Gengar raised his hands in midair and 2 dark purple energy balls condensed on his fingertips. Then he swings his arms wildly and throws it continuously. 5 or 6 Shadow Balls directly blocked all Dusclops' dodge positions. Punch it away with Fire Punch, Nightshade cancels out. The Rockets are also battle-hardened. Although they all have failed experiences, failure is the mother of success. They already have countless mothers in terms of combat experience. It is not inferior to some elite gym trainers. Seeing that they couldn't dodge, they simply used skills to neutralize all attacks. Boom! The attacks collided and caused huge smoke on the field.
Xiaochun said with some worry. Xiaozhi, why don't you let Pikachu come on? Isn't it a bit too forced to fight 1 against 2?
Xiaozhi smiled as if his conspiracy had succeeded. Barely. It's over, Gengar, use hypnosis now. I saw that the floating Gengar and soaring in the sky had disappeared when the skills collided. And within the layers of smoke, Gengar had already arrived in front of a Dusclops. He was directly hypnotized, then before the smoke dissipated, another Dusclops was hypnotized. 2 Dusclops fell into a deep sleep. Give them the final blow, ball. La Jiao. Gengar raised his hands, and a huge shadow ball began to condense in his hands. After a while, it turned into a huge energy ball with a diameter of 1 meter. Team Rocket hugged each other in fear. I feel a bad premonition. It's over, meow. As soon as he finished speaking, Gengar threw the huge dark purple energy ball in his hand. A dark arc drew in midair, Shadow Ball hits Dusclops directly, as well as the Team Rocket trio. A huge explosion sounded, sending all 5 of them flying out. What a disgusting feeling. In this way, Team Rocket turned into stars soaring in the sky. Xiaochen complained a little awkwardly on the side. Are the physiques of these 3 guys as perverted as Xiaozhi? Obviously that annoying Xiaohao was immediately hospitalized after being beaten away once. How come nothing happened to them? Yulongdu. Ha, living in Bengbu, this kid Xiaochen can always spot problems right away. Close black lens bracket. Professor Sakuragi. That's right, my Xiaoharu has been very observant since she was a child. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. This child's meticulous character is indeed very suitable for participating in the contest. Why not leave it to me to train him? He will be a rising star in the future. Close black lens bracket. Professor Sakuragi. Well, I have to ask Kaharu's opinion on this, like close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Let's wait until the review is over to talk about this matter. By the way, the Rockets really sent another assist this time. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Yes, fighting side by side with Gengar this time has probably greatly improved Gengar's favor. Close black lens bracket. Drake. Well, the 3 Team Rockets are indeed good people. If only Team Fire and Team Water could make people worry less. Close black lens bracket. The Water Fleet and the Fire Rock team expressed their regrets. Those 3 are the outliers in the villain organization, okay? Which villain organization always turns bad things into good things? Only the 3 of them have this unique ability. Giovanni, who was at Team Rocket's headquarters, couldn't help but fall into deep thought. Are these 3 guys really not suitable to be villains? Chapter 178. Conquer Gengar. Gengar's battle for revenge. Indiscriminate killing. Advertisement, why don't we just do the opposite and let them try to do good deeds and accumulate virtue? Maybe if it's the other way around, it can turn a good thing into a bad thing. Giovanni's thinking perspective began to become fresh and refined. Image 1. After Gengar knocked away Team Rocket, he turned his back to Xiaozhi and said nothing. He didn't know what to say now. Xiaozhi came to Gengar and half-crouched in front of him. Gengar, calm down. Ginga. Gengar thought about the sales and turned his eyes aside, not daring to look at Xiaozhi. I know, Gengar, you must be very disappointed with humans after being hurt by that guy, right? How about you come with me? Gengar looked stunned, but couldn't help but agree with Xiaozhi's thoughts. You may not believe in humans now, or even me, but it doesn't matter if you don't believe me now, I believe in you. You are not a Pokémon that brings curse, nor are you a Pokémon that is useless in battle. You are a super powerful ghost-type Pokémon, Gengar. So be my partner, Ginga. Gengar finally turned his eyes to look at Xiaozhi's sincere eyes. Finally, Gengar closed his eyes, nodded his body slightly, and he agreed. Haha, please give me more advice in the future, Gengar. Xiaozhi took out a Pokeball and tapped Gengar's body gently, and then Gengar turned into red light and entered the Pokeball. The Pokeball didn't struggle at all and made a crisp sound. It means Xiaozhi conquered Gengar. Yulongdu. Look, I was right this time, right? The Rockets really came over to give Xiaozhi an assist, close black lens bracket. Diantha. The trio of Team Rocket are really werewolves. Not even Lance's poisonous milk can affect them, close black lens bracket. Lorelei. It sounds like it's true. This is simply the biggest miracle in the world, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Yulongdu. Close black lens bracket. A woman's mouth is equivalent to 3,000 ducks. Lance, real name authentication, can't make any noise. He really can't make any noise. The Rockets trio, who were already closing the stall, became inexplicably happy when they saw this. Even the Elite Four say we are awesome, NYA, but I always feel that being so powerful is not a good thing. Whatever, as long as we are powerful. Now we are also the ones who have been certified as strong. Jessie said enthusiastically. As far as she is concerned, no matter what they mean, as long as they mean to compliment her, it means it's a good idea. In the image, in the afternoon after Xiaozhi conquered Gengar, Professor Oak sent the locator over. On the locator, there are quite a few trainers in Vermilion City, 730, ranked around 10,000. They turned into light spots on the locator. Xiaozhi can know trainer's name and appearance as long as he touches the light spot lightly. Originally, for Xiaozhi, no matter who he fought, it was the same. But now, he already has a fixed target. I saw a picture appear on Xiaozhi's locator, that was Huang Mao I met this morning. Although Xiaozhi's current ranking is outside the top 10,000, he is not that far behind Huang Mao by 1,000. So, it can be challenged, 9,535, Huang Guan. Diantha. Tisk, this guy named Huang Zi is going to suffer. Agatha. I can only say that if you do evil by God, you can be forgiven, but if you do evil by yourself, you will not live. Lorelei. Tisk, it's hard to reach 9,500, but then I directly meet a champion-level person to fight against me. I'm afraid that guy will cry. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket will. GKD. I want to watch the crushing round. Close black lens bracket. Many champion elites did not feel sad for Huang Zi at all. On the contrary, he was very happy about his misfortune. This guy probably doesn't know what kind of existence he has provoked. That's the youngest champion in history, Xiaozhi. In the image, Xiaozhi took Gengar and found Huang Mao, who was shopping on the street with Xiaochen. Now Huang Mao has returned to his high-spirited appearance, as if the person who was scared to death this morning was not his normal at all. After Huang Mao saw Xiaozhi, his expression changed drastically, and then he looked behind Xiaozhi. Tuan breathed a sigh of relief when he found that the dark purple ghost didn't follow. Why did you come to me again? Didn't I tell you that if you like to conquer Gengar, you can conquer it yourself? I don't want that guy anymore. Huang Mao is better than Damien in this regard. Even though he saw that Gengar had become stronger, he had no intention of getting Gengar back. In his mind, being strong or not is one thing. The main reason is that Gengar's curse is too disgusting. As long as Gengar is around, he is doomed to be unlucky for the rest of his life. As for whether his misfortune was caused by his thoughts, this was beyond the scope of his thinking. I came to you to fight. Advertisement, battle? You? What's your ranking? Huang Mao was so frightened by Gengar just now that he didn't realize that the thing blocking Gengar's Shadow Ball was the aura sphere that Xiaozhi had rubbed. Therefore, he also despises Xiaozhi. After all, Xiaozhi's age is there. Ranked 10,425. Ranked 10,000? Ha ha ha, kid, there is a huge difference between the rankings of the championship by one place. Do you know how many places I am? 9,500. There is a difference of nearly 1,000 places between us. Are you sure you want to fight me? Then there's no need to say it. As he spoke, Xiaozhi took out the Pokédex and started recording and registering the battle rankings. When the yellow-haired young man saw the red Rotom Pokédex in Xiaozhi's hand, an ominous premonition arose in his heart. The World Championship is a competition with no threshold and everyone can participate. However, most people use their mobile phones to register and record battles. When both parties use their mobile phones to apply for a match, a dedicated Rotom referee will come to judge the match. However, the kid in front of me is not using a normal phone, but a Rotom phone. This thing isn't just a phone, it's a Pokédex, not everyone can have it.
Either a trainer with outstanding strength, a related user, or a rookie trainer who received Pokémon from Professor.
In short, none of them are easy to mess with, but the arrow is on the string and must be fired. If he runs away now, he will be completely embarrassed. Although I have already lost a lot of face just now. Now we can only hope that this kid is just a connection person. In this case, he still has hope to win. After the two parties agreed using their mobile phones, they found an open space nearby and started fighting directly.
The battle at the World Championships also attracted a lot of spectators, and referee Rotom was in place early. Yu Longdu. This is not bad. You can connect your smartphone to the battle, and the victory or defeat can be directly uploaded to the World Championships ranking website. Close black lens bracket.
Wallace. The important thing is that with Rotom as the referee, you can basically fight anytime and anywhere. You don't have to worry about unfair actions during the fight. Close black lens bracket. Dandy. That makes sense. It seems that the future World Championships can be changed to the one in the video. This will expand the scope of the championship even more. Close black lens bracket.
The current tournament is different from the one in the video.
If you want to participate in the World Championship, you must have 8 badges and compete in a special venue. After all, when fighting in the wild, there is no way to determine the result, and who knows whether you have committed a foul. But the high technology in the image directly eliminates all these factors. The results can be uploaded using your mobile phone, and whether they are fair or not will be supervised by the referee Rotom. It can be said that it is very thoughtful. Perhaps the era of the National World Championships will soon come in this era. In the image, Xiaozhi starts a duel with Huang Mao. This game is a 1v1 duel. Normally speaking, it is like a Pokeball level, 1-on-1 or 2-on-2. There are rarely more than 3 Pokemon dueling each other. Both parties release their Pokemon at the same time. The one over there with the yellow fur is an Alakazam. After abandoning Gengar, he subdued one of Gengar's mortal enemies, Alakazam, and returned. It seems that this guy really hates Gengar, and he still has some skills. After all, Alakazam is not a bad Pokemon, and its Earl Dervish form, Abra, is also quite rare. Needless to say, Xiaozhi naturally asked Gengar to attack. After seeing that Xiaozhi's Pokemon was Gengar, Huang Mao's expression changed slightly. He didn't expect that Xiaozhi actually conquered Gengar in just this little time. HMPH, I thought you were so loyal, but you ended up following someone else in the blink of an eye. Huang Mao couldn't help but mocked. After all, it's really unpleasant to have someone steal a Pokemon right in front of you. Even though this Pokemon was the one he abandoned. Gengar is in trouble for the rest of his life if he follows a trainer like you. You actually blamed Gengar for your failure to conquer Pokemon and your failure in battle. Now I'll show you what Gengar did the next day, Adib. Gengar, Shadow Ball, Ginga, Gengar has already become thirsty. All the old and new grudges were burning up, and the dark purple balls rolled out of his hands were also extraordinarily big. Alakazam, Illusion of Light. Huang Mao also wanted to prove that his choice was correct, so he chose to confront Gengar head-on. Colorful twists and turns of light cut through the void and collided with the dark purple energy ball. The huge sound resounded throughout the entire venue, and the people watching around felt a hurricane. After the two sides were in a stalemate for several seconds, Shadow Ball slowly pushed Psybeam down. How is it possible? How can that Gengar have such strength? Huang Mao had a look of disbelief on his face. In his hands, Gengar had been defeated repeatedly and almost never won. Could it be that during these years, Gengar himself became stronger through exercise? Gengar is not weak, the weak ones are just trainers. When Pokemon and trainer work together as one, Pokemon can bring out the best in it. Come on Gengar. Xiaozhi stretched out his hands, making the same gesture as Gengar. Immediately afterwards, Shadow Ball's suppression speed suddenly increased several times. Advertisement in an instant, Psybeam was pushed back and hit Alakazam hard. Alakazam is already a squishy guy with high attack power, but if he hits with restraint and damage, his life will be like a candle in the wind. It's over, Gengar, freeze punch. Gengar escaped into the ground and suddenly appeared in front of Alakazam. The short purple hands were covered with a cold chill. Asterisk. Then he punched out, and the air seemed to be frozen, normal. Boom. Alakazam, who was hit by the freezing punch, froze on the spot and then turned into crystal clear ice. Huang Mao sat helplessly on the ground, his eyes dull. Xiaozhi and Gengar walked up to Huang Mao. Huang Mao subconsciously stretched out his hand in front of him, fearing that Gengar would attack him again. Huang Zi, your biggest mistake is to deceive Gengar. This will hurt him more than abandoning him directly. Pokemon is a simple creature. If you are good to it, it will be good to you. You deceived Gengar and made him wait for 3 full years. It is reasonable for him to want to revenge you. Of course. This has nothing to do with whether he is a ghost-type Pokémon or not. There is something wrong with you as a person. This battle is the battle to cut off Gengar's past. From now on, he will live as a brand new Gengar. Just watch him. Become the peak, and then stay behind for the rest of his life. Spend it in the sea. Gengar crossed his arms, looked down at Huangzi with disdain, turned and left with Xiaozhi. Looking at the two of them leaving, Huangzi always felt that he seemed to have done a big mistake. He seemed to have given up an incredible existence. Yulongdu. Xiaozhi is so domineering and arrogant this time. Is this the Xiaozhi I really know? Wallace. After all, the Xiaozhi in the video has already experienced 7 regions, counting Galar. There are 8. He has begun to look like a champion. Close black lens bracket. Steven. Xiaozhi seems more and more similar to Kai Hong. I mean adult Kai Hong. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Indeed, that kind of kingly aura that is inadvertently revealed is indeed somewhat similar to the adult Kai Hong. Close black lens bracket. Day. Adult Chi Hong. Oh, by the way, you have met adult Ji Hong. I almost forgot. Close black lens bracket. Day suddenly remembered that Chi Hong said she wanted to find Xiaozhi before. Therefore, the champion and others who are now on Xiaozhi's side have naturally seen Chi Hong before. It is said that he has never seen the perfect red body as an adult. They even said that Xiaozhi in the video looked a bit like Chi Hong. This made Day want to see Chi Hong even more. Dandy. Haha, not only did he see Chi Hong, but everyone was beaten by him. Close black lens bracket. Audiences. What did they hear? Red beats up all the champions? These are words typed by the strongest king, Dan Emperor. Of course there is no possibility of deception. Is the complete red body already so powerful? So in other words, Xiaozhi, who is in the same body as Chi Hong, should be getting closer to the perfect body now, right? Could it be that the Xiaozhi in the video can really win the 8th master? Judging from his appearance, he must be 14 or 15 years old at most. In the world of Crimson Red, it was due to special circumstances that Crimson and Green grew so fast. In this world, if Xiaozhi can really win the position of the strongest champion at the age of 14 or 15, that would be too perverted. After Xiaozhi defeated Huang Mao, he went back to Sakuragi Laboratory with Xiaochen. After Professor Sakuragi learned that Xiaozhi had conquered Gengar, he was also very happy for Xiaozhi. Gengar is even happier. After getting in touch with him during this period, he knew very well what kind of person Xiaozhi was. Gengar can find a trainer like Xiaozhi, which is indeed a very good destination. At the same time, Professor Sakuragi also learned that Gengar was abandoned by trainer, so he appeared in this house. He was extremely angry because he loved Pokémon, so he directly reported Huang Mao's file. As for what will happen to Huang Mao then, this is not what Xiaozhi cares about. Xiaozhi, who started the World Championship, has been going strong all the way, with the newly conquered Gengar and Dragonite. It only took a few days to hit 2,000 Pokeball players. During this period, Xiaozhi participated in more than 20 battles. It doesn't mean that if you win from 10,000 people and win from 9,500 people, you will end up with 9,500 people. The ranking system will just move you up a few ranks. If you want to directly rank and replace, you must at least be at the Ultra Ball level. For low levels, let's just rely on the number of wins. When he reached 2,000, Xiaozhi finally met a decent rival. Regarding the tournament, it is based on the Master Ball competition in the game. In the game, only Master Ball has rankings, and the matching rivals will not exceed nouns. The ranking of the tournament battles in the original animation is a bit messy. It didn't even say what level of people are needed to register for the World Championships. Therefore, it is directly set here to register so that you can register at will, but if you want to improve your ranking, you need to do it bit by bit. Chapter 179. Fight against Majishi and Swallowgibble in everything, Dragon Star Map Cannon. Advertisement in the image. One day, the new gym in Vermilion City was built, and Xiaozhi had reached the Pokeball level of 2000. After learning that the current leader of the Vermilion Gym, Majishi, is a Pokeball player, Xiaozhi went to the Vermilion Gym to challenge him. When the result came, Majishi was not there. The current acting head of the museum is the deputy captain of Majishi's unit, called Pix. Currently ranked 2100 in Pokeball, he is considered a good player. Just because he didn't participate in many world championships, his ranking was only 2010. When Xiaozhi heard this, his hands itched and he had a fight with him. Gengar and Pikachu simply crushed her easily. It seems to be a female. From the sound of the voice, it sounds like a female. The gap between the two sides is like a chasm. Gengar is not bad at strength. Pikachu has slowly recovered from the weakness of reincarnation.
How could it be Xiaozhi's rival if it was just an agency gym?
I received news that someone seems to be coming to play in the gym. A strong voice came from the door of the gym. Xiaozhi turned around and said with a smile. Uncle Majishi, it's too ugly to kick the gym. I'm here to challenge. At the entrance of Vermilion Gym, Majishi, who was wearing military uniform, also looked at Xiaozhi with a smile. This young man who impressed him deeply and taught him that evolution is not all powerful certainly impressed him deeply. You even beat up my vice captain, isn't this a kickoff? This is just a normal friendly discussion, the next one is you, uncle. Majishi and Xiaozhi knew each other, and Xiaochen had already heard it from Xiaozhi's mouth. Xiaochen could no longer complain about this, it's like there seems to be Xiaozhi's friend normal all over the world, but at least this time it's not a woman. After the two exchanged pleasantries for a while, they stood on opposite sides of each other. Speaking of which, even if you are an acquaintance of mine, there is no way I would let you offend me. I wish I could, uncle, let you see my growth. Both sides take their positions and Pixar will be the referee. She also wanted to see how far her captain was from this boy. As for whether the captain will win by the A*. She had just fought with that boy not long ago, and she knew very well how powerful that boy was. Basically, I was able to hang him up and beat him easily. Even Majishi couldn't beat him. The rules of the game are 2 version 2. Both parties please release their first Pokémon. Click. Majishi threw a Pokémon, and Xiaozhi waved his hand to let Pikachu go into battle. Since it is not a gym challenge, there is no saying that the gym owner releases Pokémon first. Both sides sent Pokémon onto the field at the same time. There was a flash of light, and the Pokémon sent by Majishi was Raichu. It's indeed Pikachu, uncle, you really sent Raichu. Both of them guessed what Pokémon the other party would send out first. This battle can be described as a grudge match. When Pikachu first debuted, he barely defeated Raichu with his speed. Now Majishi is confident that his Raichu has no weaknesses, and he wants to take revenge on Pikachu. It's just that he doesn't know. Pikachu now is no longer the fat nerd he used to be. Pikachu, quick attack, Raichu, we also use quick attack. Xiaozhi was stunned for a moment. The opponent actually competed with his Pikachu for speed? Seriously. Pikachu and Raichu turned into afterimages in the field with a white light strip. Both sides are extremely fast, but within a few seconds, Raichu could no longer see Pikachu. The field is littered with the afterimages left behind by Pikachu's extreme speed. I can't tell the real identity at all. Quick attack, it was used by Pikachu to give it a double team feel. How is it possible? How can Pikachu be so fast? Majishi was stunned by Pikachu's speed. He knew that his Raichu was deficient in speed. So in the past few years, he has been crazy about help Raichu to make up for the lack of speed. Finally, Raichu's speed returned to the level of a normal rich craftsman, even worse. Even though Raichu is much bigger than Pikachu, in fact, normal Raichu's speed species strength is faster than Pikachu. He admitted that Xiaozhi's Pikachu did have some talent for speed. But, what's going on with this speed that transcends races? Is this cheating? Yu Longdu. Xiaozhi's Pikachu is faster than when he fought against Alchemy Emperor, close black lens bracket. Ma Kai-shi. I think I must not have paid attention to the news or watched TV in the video. Otherwise, even if I had seen Pikachu's performance, I would not have competed with him in speed. The one who knows you best is always yourself. Majishi doesn't like watching TV or watching the news now, and is focused on training Raichu. If it weren't for Tiandao's inventory, he wouldn't have known that Xiaozhi's Pikachu would be so perverted. Therefore, it is natural for him in the image to want to win back where he lost before. It's just, I'm afraid I'm going to get beaten up hard again this time. Although his strength has improved significantly in the images, Xiaozhi's progress is completely different. In the image, under Pikachu's extremely fast speed, Raichu's eyes were dizzy. The movements of his feet also slowed down involuntarily. The rich experience made Majishi feel a little bad, but before he could react, Xiaozhi had already taken the initiative. Advertisement. Now, Pikachu, Orberg tail, brush. Pikachu's small figure instantly appeared under Raichu, and then showed a sinister smile. The tail on the back lit up with a bright silver light, and then it was slapped hard on Raichu's belly. It flew directly into the sky. Majishi's eyes almost popped out of his head. Is this the F********* G weak Pikachu? Although the previous Pikachu was fast, its power was very weak. What's going on with this Machamp now? An iron tail can blow away a big fat rat like Raichu. Electro Web. Pika, Craftsman. Xiaozhi's offensive did not stop at all. With an order, Pikachu continued to attack. The tip of its Z-shaped tail condenses a golden grid-shaped thunder and lightning, and then throws it into the sky. Wrap up the unconscious Raichu in midair. No, Raichu, use Megaton Punch to break free. Thunder. Seedling Raichu's fat orange body is struggling in the air. Now he has no strength points and his head is still knocked unconscious. There is no way to use Megaton Boxing. Useless uncle, Pikachu, know him, quick attack. Pickup. Pikachu turned into a golden spark and disappeared instantly. The next second, his petite body slammed into Raichu's body. Boom. Raichu's eyes bulged, as if he had been hit hard, and then he flew out normally like a meteor, hitting the wall hard. The strong walls of the gym were directly hit with several cracks. Raichu lost the ability to fight. The winner is Pikachu. Captain, please release the next Pokémon quickly. Ma Jishi came back to his senses after being reminded by Pixar. He looked at Pikachu with a confused expression, and then at Raichu who had fallen to the ground and couldn't move. It was as if he was going through a brainstorming session in his mind. Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? Why does Pikachu have such power? Can it have such speed? That thing is called Pikachu? Could it be that the Pikachu in this world have mutated? Ma Jishi's strong professionalism allowed him to suppress the doubts in his heart. Then he took back Raichu and released his next Pokémon, Electabuzz. This is the Pokémon that Ma Jishi conquered in the past 2 years. Its powerful talent suddenly made it a general that is not inferior to Raichu. It's just how powerful this Pikachu is. Ma Jishi, who had always been full of confidence, couldn't help but feel a little worried. Can his Electabuzz really beat this Pikachu? Pikachu, come back. Let the other partners play. Pikachu obediently returned to Xiaozhi's side. Anyway, we have played 2 games today, and the addiction is over. We want to leave some opportunities for the younger generations to perform. It's up to you, Gibble. There was a flash of light, and a small gray-blue shark appeared on the field. The big mouth and small eyes look very cute, but he is more than just cute. Its strength is also quite powerful. In the Sinnoh region, Gibble helped Xiaozhi defeat many enemies because of his powerful surprise. Although in the end he drank in hatred in front of Darkrai. But this cannot hide his strong potential. Cynthia. Oh, is it the Gibble who fought against Darkrai? I still remember the powerful dragon stars back then. Close black lens bracket. Karen. Even though this Gibble has not evolved, it is quite powerful. If Darkrai's black hole Dream Eater hadn't been too shameless, it might not have been easy to deal with him. Close black lens bracket. Drake. If we play against rival of Ma Jishi's level now, Gibble should be able to show his true strength. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Ma Jishi. Close black lens bracket. What do you mean by my level? I'm also a gym trainer, okay? Gym trainer is better than 90% of the people in the world. Although, it really can't be compared with Xiaozhi. In the image, after seeing that rival was a small shark, Ma Jishi also let go of his worries. He can naturally recognize that this is the quasi-god of the Sinnoh region, Gibble. However, quasi-god is also known as a late-blooming Pokémon. Before evolving, there was actually no strong combat power, and some were even weaker than normal Pokémon. His Electabuzz shouldn't be easy to catch against a small shark. This Gibble has ground type, which is a little tricky, but it's not a big problem. After being an electric type gym owner for so many years, how could it be possible that I don't have the means to deal with ground type Pokémon? Take the win first. Electabuzz, use Screech. Hey Lei. Electabuzz opened its mouth and let out a sharp growl, so harsh that Xiaochen couldn't help but cover her ears.
This skill is really a range of AoE. 0. Please give me flowers.
Gibble, dig. Is it stuck? Gibble also had a sad expression on his face, but he still followed Xiaozhi's command. Drilled directly into the ground. Advertisement: if you were underground, the sharp sound would be much quieter. I didn't expect that Gibbles will to be so strong. Electabuzz, pay attention to your surroundings. As soon as the opponent comes out, he will use Megaton Punch.
Ma Jishi originally wanted to use Screech to disrupt Gibble's movements.
Then he took the opportunity to instantly kill Gibble. Unexpectedly, Gibble was able to use Dig against Screech. That dig speed is amazing. There is no other way. Ma Jishi can only strike later and wait for Gibble to come out. There was a stalemate on the field for several seconds, and then the soil under Electabuzz's feet seemed to loosen. Long-term training has made Electabuzz respond quickly. He immediately jumped away and left the place. The next second, the soil where he was directly broken open. However, what appeared was not Gibble's small figure, but a purple wave. Dragon Pulse. What? When did you give the order to use Dragon Pulse? Oops. Electabuzz, step down. Ma Jishi immediately reacted and reminded Electabuzz, but Electabuzz just jumped to drive. How can I react again? Boom! Gibble emerged from the ground at the feet of Electabuzz. The small hand with huge ground power hit Electabuzz hard on the chin. Outstanding effect. Electabuzz, hold on, catch him and use Freeze Punch. Hey Lei. Electabuzz withstood Dig's power and then endured the pain in his body. He grabbed Gibble with one hand, clenched his fist with the other hand, and the cold air covered it. 0. This is Ma Jishi's method of fighting ground-type Pokémon, Freezing Punch.
The defense was lowered by Screech, and Dragonland was defeated 4 times.
Even if Gibble had 100,000 lives, he wouldn't be able to take this punch. Eat it, Xiaochen. Ma Jishi, real-world viewers. Eat it. What is this command? Xiaozhi is doing something sexy again, right? This is naturally an operation that only Gibble and Xiaozhi can understand. Under Xiaozhi's instruction, Gibble opened his blood-plate mouth.
The freezing fist attacked and was directly bitten by Gibble.
A bone-chilling chill burst out of Gibble's mouth. But Gibble is like an abyss. Normal stomach directly absorbs the cold air. Although there is still damage, it is much better than a direct hit. And its sharp teeth are pierced into Electabuzz's flesh. Electabuzz let go of Gibble's arm in pain and waved his other hand wildly. Want to throw Gibble off? Gibble, lift Electabuzz up and use Dragonstar Swarm. Ooh! Gibble's whole body sank down hard, and Electabuzz lost his center of gravity and was bitten by Gibble. And Gibble also stood on the ground, his mouth facing upward. A destructive power condensed in Gibble's mouth. Electabuzz, let's go. Majishi is about to collapse. What did that boy go through back then to have such devilish Pokémon? Quick attack is comparable to Pikachu of extreme speed. Gibble who can swallow freezing punch. Now this Gibble is even ready to eat Electabuzz and release the Dragon Stars directly. If you eat this, you will lose 100% of your ability to fight. Although Majishi was extremely anxious and collapsed, Electabuzz still couldn't break away from Gibble's mouth. Even Electabuzz is pretty broken right now. Not only was his hand bitten in unbearable pain, but he could also feel. A destructive force is about to take shape. Very good, Dragonstar Group, launch. There is no Piplup here, so no need to worry about hurting innocent people. Ouch. Gibble finally releases Electabuzz, but Electabuzz has no time to feel lucky. A ball of light with destructive power was sent directly to the ceiling of the gym, and then exploded suddenly. The ball of light exploded, and the energy emitted scattered like meteors. Normal. The venue inside the gym became torn apart, with traces of scorch everywhere. Electabuzz also turned into a meteor and fell directly. It hit the ground hard and was scorched black. Dig has already caused a lot of damage. In the end, he directly captured the Dragonstar Group at 0 distance, and the remaining health bar was instantly cleared, and he lost his combat ability. Xiaozhi on the side slowly let go of the head he was holding, and came back to his senses from holding his head and squatting to guard against contest condition. That thing just now was a world-destroying attack. It must be. Who would use that level of attack in this narrow space? Everyone in Xiaozhi was numb. Majishi on the side had a dull expression and didn't know what to say. Xiaozhi, is he a professional training baby team? First a cute Pikachu, then a cute Gibble. The results are extremely powerful. Judging from the intensity of the attack, Gibble is more intimidating than its Pikachu. This little thing is so scary. Chapter 180. Gibble's Evolution. An act of kindness from the Team Rocket Trio. Advertisement. Seeing Majishi's expression, the audience couldn't help but laugh. Yulongdu. Majishi said that he has never fought such an outrageous battle in his life. Close black lens bracket. Blaine. Whether it's the Xiaozhi who just debuted or the Xiaozhi in the video, his unexpectedness is first rate, although the Xiaozhi in the video has not yet grown to a Dan Emperor level trainer. But its powerful unexpectedness will definitely cause great trouble to Alchemy Emperor. Close black lens bracket. Dandy. Now that I see Xiaozhi's battle, I'm starting to get a headache. There are so many different tricks. Annabelle. You never know what tactics Xiaozhi is hiding behind. Cynthia. It turns out that Ice Punch can still be so restrained. I got it. Close black lens bracket. In the oak backyard, Cynthia looked meaningfully at Garchomp beside her. There were some beads of sweat on Garchomp's forehead. No, Sister Nah, you don't want me to imitate the Gibble on the screen, do you? Don't mess with me, I don't have that big an appetite. If I really eat Ice Punch, it will only freeze my stomach. That Gibble on the screen is a monster, I can't compare to it. Seeing Garchomp's frightened look, Cynthia also gave up on letting Garchomp use this method to counter the ice type. After thinking about it, it seems that except for Xiaozhi, this method really doesn't work. After all, Xiaozhi's Pokémon are all weirdos, and his tactics are not something that normal people can imitate. In the image, with Majishi's stunned look on his face, Xiaozhi opened his Pokédex. When he saw that his ranking had risen to 1007, he nodded with satisfaction. Uncle, it was such a pleasant battle, Majishi. Do you think I look happy? I originally came to fight with the idea of revenge, but in the end I was beaten even more severely. What has this kid been going through in the past few years? Why has it become so strong? The command ability is decisive, and Pokémon also has abilities beyond expectations. Is it possible that this kid is still a champion? After chatting with Majishi, Xiaozhi and Xiaozhi were ready to go back. Today we had a small battle against Airport. Pikachu got plenty of training, and Gibble also. Just when Xiaozhi was about to take Gibble back, a bright light suddenly appeared from Gibble's body. This is the light of evolution. Gaba. As Gibble's whole body shook, the light that enveloped him suddenly dispersed, and a completely different Gibble appeared in front of everyone. The short body became slender, and the tail on the back became stronger. The fat little body also became thin and strong. There are fang-like spikes sprouting from all over the body, making it appear more aggressive. This is the evolution of Gibble, Gabite. Quasi-gods will basically have relatively strong combat power by the second stage. Not to mention Xiaozhi, this weird Gabite. After seeing herself evolving, Gabite ran over excitedly and bit Xiaozhi on the head. Ah, let me go Gabite, your teeth are even sharper.
Majishi. This way of saying hello is so special.
And, is your head made of iron? You can't even chew it? The above is purely a show effect. No matter how hard Xiaozhi's head is, if Gabite bites her teeth hard. 100% bloody. Just during the Gibble period, he was already used to fighting with Xiaozhi. This level of play rough is perfectly normal, and it is easy to control the force. In short, after a tournament, Xiaozhi not only improved his ranking, but Gibble also evolved into Gabite. It can be said to be a double happiness. This time I really said goodbye to Majishi. Xiaozhi and Xiaochen returned to Sakuragi Laboratory and told Professor Oak the good news about Gibble's evolution. Upon hearing this, Professor Oak also suggested that Xiaozhi take more Pokémon to exercise. He has a lot of Pokémon in his backyard, and apart from the ones that don't like to evolve, there are also many that haven't reached the evolutionary level. And Snivy's second senior brother Pignite, they all do not resist evolution, but they have not yet reached the conditions for evolution. It does not mean that once the level is reached, one can evolve. Although some Pokémon are already at a very high level, they still need an opportunity to evolve. Either fight, or the mood reaches the standard, just like the evolved Gibble this time. Gibble's level is definitely not low, but it has not evolved until now, and there are still many factors involved. To be honest, if the animation states that you can evolve at level 18, then Xiaozhi's Snivy shouldn't be unable to evolve. I remember those girls' new Leaf Storm. Advertisement. Xiaozhi also readily agreed to Professor Oak's request. It would be better to say that this was his original plan. Yulongdu. I'm really looking forward to it. It seems that this time I can get a glimpse of Xiaozhi's full combat power. Close black lens bracket. Day. If nothing else, I just want to see the level of that Infernape. I have a hunch that it is an Infernape that is no less powerful than my Infernape. Close black lens bracket. Lucian. Okay, you have already told me once. Day, it sounds like I don't know whether it is flatter your Infernape or assist Xiaozhi's Infernape flatter your Infernape. 1. Tot. Why am I always co-authoring flatter my Infernape? Steven. I am quite interested in Xiaozhi's Snorlax. Even though he is in rest every time the screen turns to him, I can feel the huge energy contained in that huge body. Close black lens bracket. Sabrina. I said you are all pretty good, but those who don't know think you all have psychic. Why are you trying to speculate through the screen? When Xiaozhi uses those Pokémon to fight against each other, he will naturally know their strength. Close black lens bracket. Catalia. Yes, and each of you is flatter Xiaozhi's Pokémon. Are you scared by Xiaozhi's baby team and think you will be slapped in the face? Close black lens bracket. Yulongdu. One thing to say, I think if nothing else, that Swellow must be very good. Back then, he was instantly killed by Latios' billion-ton shock move. Close black lens bracket. As a flying type. No, as a part-time flying type champion, Lance thinks he knows a lot about flying type Pokémon. From his perspective, that Swellow is definitely a rookie flying type. Even if Latios is very strong, being killed instantly with one move is a bit too much, right? Diantha. No prizes for guessing. Will Lance poison his milk this time? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Cynthia. Yes, close black lens bracket open black lens bracket Lorelei. Yes, close black lens bracket open black lens bracket Catalia. +1 close black lens bracket. Everyone spoke, and no one was optimistic about Lance's statement. Although Lance is the champion of the flying series, and Swellow's performance is indeed disappointing. But they believed the possibility of Lance's mouth. The living can feed death, and the dead can feed life. This is the most poisonous milk in the world. Yulongdu. I'm so out of breath. When will Lance stand up? Yulongdu clenched his fists. This time he would definitely avenge his shame and wash away his name of poisonous milk. It just depends on when Swellow comes out to fight. In the image, it has been several days since the match against Majishi. During this time, Xiaozhi did not go to battle for the time being, but began to perform his tasks as a special researcher.
It's not a big task. Most of the time I just go see Pokémon, investigate Pokémon and so on.
Therefore, Xiaozhi's ranking has dropped a bit during this period. After all, if Xiaozhi did not go to the battle, then if someone else wins, the ranking will definitely rise and Xiaozhi will be pushed down. But Xiaozhi didn't panic at all. After all, there is still a long time before the end of the season. All he can do is try his best to win every battle. There is no use panicking.
Just today, Xiaozhi and Xiaochun received a commission to find Ditto.
It turned out that actor Ditto from one of the crew was missing. That Ditto's acting is actually pretty good, but he's always nervous so he can't transform properly. After being scolded by the director, Ditto ran away. Now, the director has a new drama that requires Ditto. If Ditto performs well, maybe you can officially embark on the path of being an actor. Therefore, the agent asked Xiaozhi and Xiaochun to get Ditto back as soon as possible. However, Xiaozhi and Xiaochun searched the streets and alleys but could not find Ditto. The screen turns to the other side. The missing Ditto turned out to be in the secret base of the Team Rocket trio. It's said to be a secret base, but it's actually just a sewer. Ditto was not captured by Team Rocket and others, he just happened to meet him. After Meowth's translation, they understood that Ditto was kicked out of the crew because he couldn't transform. This is a lie told by Ditto. She doesn't want people to know that she ran out secretly. Ditto is normally genderless, but in the anime, Everyone thinks of Ditto as a female, so I'll just write it as she here. Subsequently, the Rockets trio began to do things that were completely inconsistent with their status. That is to help Ditto learn transform perfectly. The euphemistic name is that after Ditto's perfect transformation, it will be easier for them to catch Pokémon. However, the audience all knows that the final result will definitely not be like that. With the unremitting efforts of Team Rocket, Ditto finally mastered the transform skill perfectly. And the Rocket trio used stratagem. I want to use magic to replace Pikachu with Ditto, and then let Ditto sneak away. However, Xiaozhi, as an electric mouse breeder for 25 years. How could you not recognize your own electric mouse? He was obsessed with the old electric mouse. Ditto's perfect transform was revealed at a glance, and the true face of Team Rocket was revealed. After a series of struggles, Pikachu was rescued by Kaharu's calling dog. The crew's manager also came over and let the Rockets trio know. It turns out that Ditto did not leave because he was fired, but just because he was reprimanded and couldn't accept it. That's why I left the group. They retreated first and returned to their secret underground base. Advertisement after repeated decisions, they decided to let Ditto continue to realize her dream. Because Jessie also wanted to debut as an actor back then. But due to various reasons, she finally had to give up her ideal. She couldn't watch Ditto, who had the same dream as her, end up in the same fate as her. So, the Rockets trio began to plot a plan. What they want to do this time is not bad things, but good things. Therefore, the long-standing principle of strategy failure does not take effect this time. They first invited the agent out into a dense forest and demanded a ransom from him. After Xiaochun's agent arrived, the Rockets trio took out the trapped Ditto and began to face Xiaozhi. Ji and others kept mocking. Xiaochun keenly realized that something was wrong. How come you come here with a ransom to redeem Pokémon, but have no intention of asking for ransom? And they continued to ridicule Xiaozhi. Ha ha ha, how about it? You are helpless watching us trap and torture Ditto. If you want to defeat us, you must at least use a powerful move like Thunderbolt, NYA. Even if you use Thunderbolt, it might not be useful. After all, we are very powerful now. Jessie blinked at Xiaozhi, who looked confused. What the hell are they talking about? Seeing Xiaozhi's slow look, Jessie couldn't help but cursed angrily.
You are so slow, little devil. I told you to use Thunderbolt, don't you understand?
Xiaozhi was stunned for a moment, then shouted rage in turn. I don't understand what you are saying at all, since you were asking for it. Pikachu, Thunderbolt. Pikachu. A powerful move of bright golden light directly sent the foursome into the sky. This time there was a Wobbuffet beside them, but it was just one more person flying into the sky to keep them company. It's great. No, it feels so disgusting. 3. Swanesa.
Ditto. The agent saw the bad guy being beaten away and quickly ran to the trapped Ditto.
Xiaochun on the side whispered to Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi, the three of them on Team Rocket. Aren't they a little strange? Well, I'm very familiar with those three guys, although I didn't understand what they said at first. When they asked me to use Thunderbolt, the truth was. It's already clear. They want to get Ditto to distance themselves from them. These three guys are still cute and attractive villains as always, if they can stop peeking at me. If Pikachu, we will definitely become friends. Xiaozhi looked at the four people who turned into stars and said with some emotion. Yulongdu. Ouch, Xiaozhi's emotional intelligence is at full capacity this time. Wallace. Xiaozhi has really grown up, even though the Rockets showed it clearly. Close black lens bracket. Catalia. If it were before, even if the Rockets were so obvious, I'm afraid Xiaozhi wouldn't be able to tell anything at all. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Xiaozhi and the Rockets trio have become happy enemies. Steven. This time we should call them Team Rocket 4. I didn't expect Jessie and Wobbuffet to be there. Isn't this considered a show? As long as you use a mirror coat, I'm afraid. This Thunderbolt doesn't even work. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. From the moment they let Xiaozhi use the 100,000 2.3 volt, he was already a star. I mean, their acting skills are very good. They also have strong Yan Yi. If you want to be an actor, you might be able to get ahead. Close black lens bracket. Yu Longdu. I still agree with that sentence. If the Rockets trio did something bad, it would turn into an assist in the end. Now it turned into doing something good, but the result was extremely smooth. This shows what? Close black lens bracket. Xiao Juer. Haha, it means they don't have the talent to do bad things. What do you think? Do you want to consider switching to the entertainment industry? With your current reputation, you can switch to actor. If you say that, it will become an instant hit. Jessie, don't be ridiculous. Don't underestimate our professionalism as bad guys. What we see on the screen is just a whim. If we want to do bad things, we can do whatever we want. Jessie was determined and refused Xiao Yuer's invitation. Even now, becoming an actor is still her dream, but, now that she has become Team Rocket, there is no turning back. The road can only keep going, and now she wants to catch Pikachu even more with her current partners. Grabbing Pikachu has become her obsession and new dream. Actor can only be a matter of the next life. After experiencing this small episode, life returned to daily life again. Xiaozhi also resumed qualifying for the World Championship. This time the fight started with 1,800 people. Rival is 1,500 Sheng Yi from Goldenrod City. Under the instructions of the Rotom referee, Xiaozhi and Sheng also released Pokémon at the same time. Sheng Yi's side used Chikorita's final evolved form, Meganium, and Xiaozhi's side used Bulbasaur. Xiaozhi temporarily replaced Bulbasaur in the backyard in preparation for the battle. Unexpectedly, by coincidence, the other party used a grass-type Pokémon. A long time ago, Bulbasaur also had a battle with Meganium, and it ended in a draw. However, Bulbasaur is stronger now. Chapter 181. The Guidance of Fate, the Resonance of the Waveguide, and the Thousand-Year Reunion. Advertisement in the image, Bulbasaur and Meganium are in a fierce battle. Although Rival is not weak, Bulbasaur used various clever combos to hang him up and beat him. In terms of flexibility, Meganium loses too much to Bulbasaur. With the last resort Sludge Bomb, Meganium was successfully taken away by Bulbasaur. So far, Xiaozhi's ranking has risen to more than 1,500. Meanwhile, at the Pokémon Center in Vermilion City, a Pokémon egg with blue and white patterns was glowing slightly. It seems that I heard the movement of Pokémon eggs. Nurse Joy walked in quickly and found that the Pokémon eggs still looked like that. What's going on with this child? Why can't he come out of the egg? Nurse Joy said with some concern. This egg has appeared for a long time, but no matter what method he uses, he refuses to hatch it. Why is this? Is the Pokémon inside the egg afraid of the world? Yu Longdu. This pattern. Could it be Riolu? Daddy. It may also be the tear-eyed lizard, but these two Pokémon should rarely appear in the Kanto region. Close black lens bracket. Kato. Could it be that? This is the reincarnation of Lucario? Close black lens bracket. Diantha. No way. How many years has it been? There's no way it hasn't hatched from then to now, right? Close black lens bracket.
Sabrina. Maybe, this little guy is waiting for his destined person. Close black lens bracket.
Catalia. Are you talking about Xiaozhi? But, this time is too long, right? Close black lens bracket. Sabrina. Really? You'll find out after reading it. Close black lens bracket.
Sabrina did not refute Catalia. In fact, she was not sure whether the egg was the reincarnation of Lucario. But then, Tiandao inventory showed a picture of this egg for no reason.
Secondly, the woman's intuition told her that this was probably Riolu's egg.
Does the bond that spans thousands of years really exist?
Sabrina murmured to herself and continued to look at the big screen. In the image, after Xiaozhi experienced a battle, he continued to look for the next target.
After a while, the locator connected to the Pokédex on my hand rang.
When there are players with similar ranking nearby, the locator will make a sound.
Soon, Xiaozhi found the next rival to face, Yuchai from Fuchsia City. When trainers' eyes meet, the battle begins. The two of them randomly found an open space, and Rotom, the referee who was wandering around the city, also flew over. The rules of this game were declared to be 1 version 1, with the Rotom referee's order. The game officially begins, with both sides releasing their Pokémon at the same time. The Pokémon Yuchai released was Tauros, while Xiaozhi sent out trump card General Pikachu. Throughout the whole process, Pikachu 800 used its extremely fast speed and strong flexibility to spin Tauros around. Yu Shiba felt that something was wrong with this Pikachu. Before he could react, Pikachu directly used Thunder to cripple Tauros. Finally, he used Iron Tail to draw a silver ray of light in the air, completely ending Tauros. Xiaozhi gained another fighting power. Everyone in Yuchai was numb. I originally saw that it was a young man using Pikachu, and I thought it would be a little bit extra. As a result, the opponent's Pikachu was simply fouled. His strongest general, Tauros, was not rival at all. After the two parties shook hands in a friendly way, Xiaozhi hugged Pikachu and found that his tail was slightly injured. It's probably because Iron Tail used too much force just now. So I decided to take Pikachu to the Pokémon Center for treatment first. Suddenly, a ripple came into his mind. Is this the power of Waveguide? What's wrong, Xiaozhi? Pikapi. Seeing Xiaozhi stunned and confused, Xiaochen and Pikachu couldn't help but ask in confusion. Just now, it seemed like something was calling me? Oh, there's no one else here, don't scare me. Although it is still broad daylight, meeting ghosts in broad daylight is even more terrifying. Not to mention Xiaochun's Stephanie who is afraid of ghosts. But, I really feel like something is calling me. Forget it, let's go to the Pokémon Center first. The call just now disappeared in a flash, and Xiaozhi felt that he was hallucinating. After all, there was no sound just now, it was just. His waveguide seemed to be resonating with something. But after all, it was only a moment, and Xiaozhi didn't think too much. Yu Longdu. That just now. Shouldn't be wrong, right? Close black lens bracket. Catalia. Is it really Riolu? No way, it's been several years, close black lens bracket. Kato. Maybe reincarnation also takes time. Now maybe Lucario just reincarnated not long ago, close black lens bracket. Dandy. It is not impossible. If it is really that Lucario, that would be interesting. The 8 masters of this year are really fighting against each other.
Xiaozhi on the screen is the person involved. In addition, I only felt it for a moment, so I felt that the call was an illusion. But Dan Emperor and others who were watching in the real world could see clearly. Advertisement: there was a blue ripple passing over Xiaozhi's body. And that ripple came from the Pokemon Center in Vermilion City. The blue ripples, plus the Pokemon egg just now, no matter how much I think about it, I can only think of Lucario, a Pokemon. Could it be that Xiaozhi is now going to reunite with the reincarnation of Lu, 80, Calio? In the image, Xiaozhi and Xiaochen brought Pikachu to the Pokemon Center. Seeing Pikachu's exaggerated expression because Potion sprayed his tail, Xiaochen and Xiaozhi couldn't help laughing. At this time, another obscure wave came. Xiaozhi was stunned again. If it was an illusion just now, then this time, it is definitely not an illusion. The voice calling him was right here, in this Pokemon Center. Xiaozhi followed the voice calling him and slowly walked deeper into the Pokemon Center. At this time, Nurse Joy just took out Pikachu after treatment. But Xiaozhi didn't seem to feel the presence of Nurse Joy and Xiaochen and just kept walking forward. Xiaochen and Nurse Joy looked at each other and quickly followed Xiaozhi. Xiaochen remembered what Xiaozhi said just now: something was calling him. Coupled with the fact that he looked so bewildered now, could it be said that Xiaozhi is possessed by a ghost? Is there a new Gengar coming? Not long after, Xiaozhi came to a door. The door opened automatically, and a lot of Pokemon eggs were placed inside. This is a Pokemon egg breeding house. However, only one Pokemon egg is very special. The Pokemon egg is connected to two lines and is surrounded by an iron ring. Xiaozhi slowly walked to the blue and white Pokemon egg. When he got here, the voice calling him had stopped. But she could feel that it was this Pokemon egg calling to him. Xiaozhi, why did you come to the training house? Hey, this Pokemon egg. Xiaochen complained and Xiaozhi ran around, then looked at the strange-looking Pokemon egg in front of Xiaozhi. All other Pokemon eggs are properly placed in the culture tank. But this Pokemon egg is a little different. Not only is it contained in a large box, but there are also two iron rings around it, connected to two wires. It seems to be constantly detecting the contest condition of this Pokemon egg. Xiaozhi asked Nurse Joy. Nurse Joy, why is this Pokemon egg like this? Well, this child is a bit special. Before Nurse Joy could finish her words, the blue and white Pokemon eggs in the training chamber suddenly made a noise. It shook slightly, shook off the iron ring that bound it, and then rolled in front of Xiaozhi. Because of the obstruction of the training warehouse, he could only roll a little distance in front of Xiaozhi at most. But that's surprising enough. Nurse Joy even covered her mouth, her face full of disbelief. This Pokemon egg traveled to Sinnoh, Hoenn, Unova and other regions, and was just delivered to our breeder room not long ago. It has been several months since he was found, but he has no intention of hatching anyway. However, its life fluctuations have been stabilizing, and it is not a dead egg. Therefore, we have been worrying about what to do, but just now this egg actually moved on its own. Nurse Joy knows the history of this egg, and from the time it was discovered until now, the egg has never had such a violent reaction. Is it because of this boy? Yu Longdu. Has it only been a few months since I discovered this Pokemon egg? This doesn't include the time before. This Pokemon egg is really tolerable. Close black lens bracket. Nurse Joy of Vermilion City. A normal Pokemon egg will hatch in 10 days and a half.
If it is a quasi-god Pokemon egg, it may take a little longer, but it will not take more than a month.
This egg, it has not hatched for several months and has not died yet. It is simply a miracle that normal exists. Close black lens bracket, Catalio. Is this the power of bonds? I now believe that this is the reincarnation of the original Lucario. I'm afraid he has been waiting persistently for Xiaozhi, close black lens bracket. Yaozan. Actually, I have a guess. It's probably because Xiaozhi's ancestors didn't learn how to use the power of waveguide before, so they couldn't sense Riolu's exchange. But now, after learning it, they can hear Riolu's call.
Cynthia. It's a very reasonable explanation. The reunion of the Wave Hero and the Wave Messenger after 1,000 years. How powerful can this be? Close black lens bracket.
Dandy. Haha, I am really looking forward to the competition between the 8 masters, close black lens bracket. In the image, after listening to Nurse Joy's story, Xiaozhi looked at the Pokemon egg in front of him in surprise. Hey, is it so magical? Then he put his hand in and touched the Pokemon egg through the gauze. It's so warm. Pikachu, Xiaoharu, you guys can touch it too. Pick up. It's true. Touching it, a warm feeling rises from the bottom of my heart. This is really a magical Pokemon egg. Xiaochen and Pikachu also touched the Pokemon eggs curiously and found that it was indeed what Xiaozhi said. The temperature above it is heartwarming. Nurse Joy looked at Xiaozhi for several seconds, and finally her eyes slowly became firm. Xiaozhi, I'll give you this Pokemon egg. Is that okay? Xiaozhi was a little surprised, after knowing the magic of this Pokemon egg. And after confirming that this Pokemon egg was the person who called him. Advertisement: Xiaozhi actually really wants this Pokemon egg. He was wondering, is this Pokemon egg waiting for him if it hasn't hatched for so long? But this is the Pokemon egg in the Pokemon Center, so how could it be obtained so easily? Unexpectedly, Nurse Joy opened instead. I gave the egg directly to him. This made Xiaozhi happy and a little embarrassed at the same time. Isn't it bad to have S*X for free like this? It doesn't matter, I'll take care of it. I feel. This Pokemon egg may be destined to belong to you, Xiaozhi. It reacted to you when it never reacted. It would be great if you could hatch it out. If it is an owned Pokemon egg, it may be more troublesome. Even if it doesn't hatch, it's still someone else's Pokemon egg. But Nurse Joy still has the ability to offer these ownerless Pokemon eggs to others. Thank you, Nurse Joy. Xiaozhi looked back at the Pokemon egg that already belonged to him and murmured to himself. Little guy, come out quickly, the world outside is very exciting. Xiaozhi took the Pokemon egg back, because the Pokemon egg showed great vitality in Xiaozhi's hand. So there is no need for a culture tank. As long as you are careful not to bump into Pokemon eggs, you will be fine. Xiaozhi is already familiar with things like raising eggs. This isn't the first time he's hatched a Pokemon egg, either. The previous Larvitar and Phanpy were all hatched by him. After Xiaozhi returned to Sakuragi Laboratory and introduced this magical Pokemon egg to Professor Sakuragi. I started taking Pokemon Egg, Pikachu and Kaharu out for a walk. Having said that, Xiaochen has very little time to go to school now. Although the course has not fallen behind, but it takes too much time to take leave. But when teacher heard that Xiaochen was studying with a champion, he immediately had no objection. How can it be better to study in school than to study with champions? But what they didn't know was that this champion actually didn't even go to school. It can be said that the theoretical knowledge is not as good as that of some students. But it's true to say that you can learn a lot. After all, traveling with Xiaozhi, you may see more things in a year than others in a lifetime. Xiaozhi took Xiaochen walking around on the streets, and Xiaozhi kept introducing the Pokemon eggs to what this place was. Xiaochen asked curiously, Xiaozhi, can Pokemon egg understand what you say? Xiaozhi smiled brightly. It's definitely possible, because the guy inside is a special guy. I believe he will be attracted to the outside world. Soon, the two of them had visited most of Vermilion City. Xiaozhi went back to Sakuragi Laboratory and introduced the Pokemon eggs in his hand to the Pokemon stored in the laboratory. Dragonite also wanted to hug the Pokemon egg, but Xiaozhi stopped him in time. His Dragonite has a gentle personality and especially likes to hug people. It's just that sometimes he can't control his strength. It's okay for him to be made of steel and iron, but if the Pokemon egg were given a lick by the dragon, it wouldn't break into pieces? Gengar, on the other hand, said, Gia Gia, twice to the Pokemon egg and went to train on his own. After experiencing the taste of winning battles repeatedly, Gengar became more interested in fighting than having fun. What's more, Xiaozhi said, in the future, I will take him to compete against Great Ball, Ultra Ball, even Master Ball level competitions. The current strength is far from enough. At night, Xiaozhi and Pikachu slept soundly in bed. And the Pokemon egg placed on the table aside began to glow faintly blue. The blue light grew little by little over time, and finally became extremely shining.
Some cracks began to appear on the Pokemon eggs. Pikachu was a light sleeper and was immediately woken up by the movement.
When he saw the Pokemon egg glowing and cracking, he quickly started to wake Xiaozhi up. What's wrong, Pikachu? Is it dawn yet? Xiaozhi sat up sleepily when he saw the faintly glowing Pokemon egg. The somewhat sleepy spirit instantly cheered up. He rolled out of bed and came to the Pokemon egg. Is this about to hatch? Pikapi, under the curious eyes of Pikachu and Xiaozhi, the Pokemon egg completely shattered. Finally, a bright blue light shone, and a small blue and black dog appeared in front of them. This is the Waveguide Pokemon, Riolu. Xiaozhi and Pikachu had a look of surprise in their eyes. The egg finally hatched, and what was hatched was an extremely rare Pokemon, Riolu.
Xiaozhi, one day, you will get your own Lucario.
At this time, a dreamlike voice sounded in Xiaozhi's heart. His mind instantly flashed back to a few years ago.
On the way to the Battle Frontier Challenge, he met Lucario.
He seemed to have said so at that time. Chapter 182. With Riolu, you are a complete Waveguide hero. Advertisements. Several years have passed since that incident, and Xiaozhi has always had a deep memory of Pokemon.
So he hasn't forgotten. However, during this period he also met a lot of Lucario, and even Riolu.
But he never had the feeling that Yulang's Lucario gave him back then. It was as if those Lucario and Riolu had never belonged to him. But this has always been different in Riolu. The moment he saw him, Xiaozhi could feel. There seemed to be a strange power connected between him and him. Is this his Lucario, his Riolu? Little Riolu opened his eyes. Shuling's big eyes are full of doubts about the world. When he saw Xiaozhi, he did not show joy, but instead showed a vigilant expression. Then he clapped it with his palm. An invisible cyclone burst out from his palm. Xiaozhi, who was caught off guard, was thrown several meters away and fell onto the bed. Pikapi. Pikachu didn't expect it either. This little guy who was just born and seemed harmless to humans and animals actually attacked Xiaozhi directly. He quickly ran to Xiaozhi's side and looked at him worriedly. Xiaozhi waved his hand, covering his abdomen with one hand, and said to Pikachu with some difficulty. Ahem, don't worry. I'm fine. I'm just a little, out of breath. Just go along, it'll be fine. I didn't expect you, Riolu, to learn the vacuum wave right after you were born. After calming down, Xiaozhi did not blame Riolu but praised him. He had a hunch that this Riolu was indeed the Riolu that belonged to his destiny. He must be waiting for him, it's just that, now that he has just been born, it is natural for him to be wary of his surroundings. Riolu, my name is Xiaozhi. This is my partner Pikachu, calm down first, okay? Leo. Riolu didn't answer Xiaozhi, but jumped out of the window. There was a crisp sound, the window shattered, and Riolu jumped directly from the second floor. He quickly rushed into the nearby forest. Seeing this, Xiaozhi quickly changed his clothes and prepared to catch up. As a result, he happened to meet Xiaochen, who was awakened. Xiaochen asked Xiaozhi what happened. The Pokemon egg hatched. It's Riolu. Maybe I scared him because I moved too much. He just broke the window and ran away. I'm going to get him back now. 03 After Xiaozhi finished speaking, he ran out. Seeing this, Xiaochen couldn't care less and quickly followed him out. Unlike Xiaozhi, she is still wearing pajamas, but we can't let Xiaozhi look for it alone in the middle of the night. Although the amount of information is a bit large and difficult to absorb. But, just help first, Catalia. Huh? Something is not right about the situation. Isn't this Xiaozhi's destined Lucario? Why did you not only attack Xiaozhi but also run away after seeing him? Close black lens bracket. You Longdu. It's really strange. When I was in the Pokemon egg, I clearly saw him sending out a waveguide calling Xiaozhi. Logically speaking, even if it wasn't the Lucario that Xiaozhi was destined to have. Will you attack Xiaozhi? Close black lens bracket. Kaido. This Riolu seems to be very wary of everything around him since he was born. Is it possible that he didn't recognize Xiaozhi's waveguide? Do you think Xiaozhi is a bad guy? Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. He is probably still a newborn. He is too vigilant and will not take the initiative to use the waveguide. If this Riolu can use the power of the waveguide now, then he should be able to come out. Xiaozhi is the destined one. Professor Kukui. It doesn't matter, I believe Xiaozhi will be able to gain Riolu's trust soon, after all, he is Xiaozhi. The audience also agreed one after another, it doesn't matter that Riolu is wary of Xiaozhi now. With Xiaozhi's charisma. Even if you, Riolu, are not the reincarnation of Lucario. I'm afraid I will also be defeated by Ji-Yi's personality charm. Professor Sakuragi. Speaking of which, no one noticed that my Xiaochen was wearing pajamas and accompanying Xiaozhi to look for Riolu. What is this? It's affectionate. Xiaochen. Dad. If you keep talking nonsense, I will definitely throw away all your research materials when I get back. Professor Sakuragi. No, shut up. Shut up now, close black lens bracket. The dialogue between Sakuragi and his daughter made the audience laugh out loud. It seems that Professor Sakuragi is also a bit of a daughter-in-law. In the image, Xiaozhi and Xiaochen ran out and looked for Riolu everywhere, and finally decided to split into two groups. But in this small forest, Xiaochen didn't even bring Pokemon with him. If he encountered a more fierce Pokemon, such as the 10,000-year villain Beedrill. Xiaozhi is looking for someone else this time, and because Xiaozhi was in a hurry, he didn't bring any other Pokemon. So Xiaozhi handed Pikachu to Xiaochen, and he went to find Riolu alone. As for whether Xiaozhi is in danger. Are you talking to Xiaozhi, the brave man who can rub Aura Sphere with his hands, smash Mewtwo Barrier with one punch, Mega Reel Rookie, and Waveguide? Because the time I met Riolu was too short, Xiaozhi did not remember Riolu's Waveguide.
We can only use the power of waveguides to detect the surroundings as much as possible to see if we can find any trace of Riolu.
The screen changed and Riolu was challenging a group of Poliwag. But he was defeated by Poliwag. Then he went to fight against Butterfree, but Butterfree treated him with a stun spore and made him docile. Then came the Raticate group and the Diglett group. Challenge after challenge, Riolu never wins. Advertisement. My body has become covered in bruises. The audience was confused, what is Riolu doing? Are you still fighting against rival, whom you obviously can't beat? No matter how many times you fight, you will always lose. Kato. It's a good thing to be defeated repeatedly, but when you encounter a rival that you obviously can't win, the best way is to practice and then challenge again, rather than keep engaging in such meaningless battles. Close black lens bracket. Kaido saw his own reflection in Riolu, it's just that Riolu is more reckless than her. If she loses, she will go back and exercise anyway.
This little guy didn't say anything and just continued to fight Pokemon.
And he keeps losing and keeps fighting. Who does this character look like? Was Yulang's Lucario also like this at the beginning? Professor Oak. I think that Riolu's current appearance may have some mental problems. It is probably related to staying in Pokemon eggs for too long. Now he is fighting non-stop. It seemed like he was venting something. Close black lens bracket, Professor Oak. If no one stops him, he will be in big trouble. He is just born and has experienced so many battles, and his body may be left with irreparable trauma. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. It's okay, I believe Xiaozhi will find him before then, after all, they're destined partners. Professor Oak backyard. Xiaozhi looked at Riolu in the video worriedly. This familiar feeling is unmistakable. He is the reincarnation of Yulang's Lucario. That is, his Riolu. Aaron's reincarnation is him. Lucario's reincarnation is Riolu. After 1,000 years, they met again, but Riolu fell into mental confusion because he waited for him for too long. As a result, it turned into a crazy look on the screen. Please, my future self, will never let anything happen to Riolu. Image 1. Riolu climbed the mountain cliff and came to a rock mountain. By chance, he disturbed an Onyx rest. After Onyx saw the petite Riolu, he had no intention of arguing with him. Who knew, Riolu would come directly with a vacuum wave. Fighting 4 times Onyx, but Riolu was just born and was still scarred. This attack is not painful at all for Onyx, but this made Onyx angry. I don't even care about arguing with you, but you still attack me? Do you really think that Onyx is easy to bully if he has a good temper, right? As Onyx roared, several huge rocks floated around him and ejected. Rock skill. Rock slide. Riolu waved his little fist and broke one of the rocks. But the follow-up rock still knocked him away. The angry Onyx has no intention of stopping. Several huge stones gathered around him again, and Riolu fell to the ground. I tried to get up with difficulty, but Rock Slide had already attacked. Boom. At this moment, a dark blue aurasphere came through the sky. Destroy all the rocks attacking Riolu. A boy covered in dirt appeared in front of Riolu. Riolu, are you okay? Appearing here is none other than Xiaozhi. And the aurasphere shot just now was naturally shot by him. Recently, he has become more and more proficient in aurasphere. There is no problem in dealing with Onyx in the wild. Leo. Riolu's eyes showing violent fighting spirit regained some clarity. That familiar power just now. What happened to that familiar feeling? Riolu, don't worry, I won't let it hurt you. I'll take you back to the Pokémon Center to heal your wounds later. After finishing speaking, Xiaozhi turned around and looked at Onyx solemnly.
The power of the waveguide on his body exploded, setting off a hurricane and blowing away the surrounding dust. The power of the waveguide is fully activated. Mega Rookie is ready to fight Onyx with his bare hands.
Leo. The waveguide power of Xiaozhi's body spread and reached Riolu's body. At that moment, Riolu felt that the power in his body resonated with the power of the boy in front of him. Because I stay in the egg all year round, the accumulated irritability and restless emotions are instantly wiped away. Riolu. Recovered. After recovering his mind, Riolu suddenly discovered that the boy in front of him had the power of waveguide.
This is the power he has been waiting for. Inside the egg, he kept calling and calling, until this morning, that call was answered. However, after he was born, his mind was not clear, so he did not discover it.
The young man looking at him turned out to be the one he had been waiting for.
It's so stupid. Fortunately, it's not too late.
Leo. Advertisement. Riolu supported his body and then stood next to Xiaozhi. He raised his fist and waved it at Xiaozhi. Huh? Riolu, do you want to come? Are you okay, Leo?
Okay, then. It's up to you, Riolu. Leo.
Riolu looked at Onyx with high spirits. Xiaozhi's mood resonated with his, and the waveguides of one person and one dog began to merge. Roar. Onyx saw that the little kid still dared to continue to taunt him, so he roared angrily. Several huge rocks appeared around again, then it ejected like a normal cannonball. Riolu. Vacuum wave. Leo. Riolu's energy sank in his dantian. He put one hand on his waist, and powerful waveguides began to condense on his hand.
The person he is now is not on the same level as the person he was a few seconds ago.
As Rockslide approached, Riolu also waved his little fist heavily. The terrifying air current swirled around the fist, and then burst out. The cyclone that used to be like a water pipe is now like a tornado. Normal. Just wipe out all the Rockslides. Onyx instantly came over from his anger. What the hell is this? Why did this little kid suddenly become more than 10 times stronger? Now, Riolu, force palm. Leo. Riolu galloped out like an arrow from a string. In a few seconds, he arrived in front of Onyx across dozens of meters. A white light glowed on his fist, and then he hit Onyx's huge snake head hard. An inner energy spread into Onyx's body. It makes him feel as if he has become torn apart. Normal, the pain is unbearable.
Roar. Onyx let out a loud roar, and then ran away.
RBQ, this little guy's power is really beyond his reach.
Yulongdu. Wowsow. Can a newborn baby produce such a powerful 900 vacuum wave?
Lian Wu. Damn it, this is definitely the Lucario from back then. Close black lens bracket.
Catalya. What else? What kind of Riolu can hit such a vacuum wave when he is just born? Even the children of elite champions can't do it. Close black lens bracket.
Cynthia. This is the power of Riolu and Xiaozhi together. The waveguide between them should be combined together, thus strengthening Riolu's waveguide power. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. But this also shows that this Riolu is the reincarnation of the Lucario. Otherwise, I don't believe that any Riolu can compete with Xiaozhi's waveguide products. Resonance. Close black lens bracket. Bruno. This is definitely a stone hammer. This Riolu will definitely shine in the future. Emperor Dan, you have to be careful, close black lens bracket. Lorelei. Why should Dan Emperor be careful? You should be more careful. When Xiaozhi takes his Riolu around to find fighting trainers to kick the gym, you will be used as a street test. Knife. Open black lens bracket B. Yulongdu. By the way, Bruno, where have you been? Haven't you arrived after so long? Close black lens bracket. Bruno. Sorry, I was fascinated by it just now, and I got lost for a while, so here I am. Close black lens bracket. Audiences around the world couldn't help laughing when they saw Bruno's words. Is this the Kanto Elite Four, the king of fighting Bruno with championship level power? It was really funny to get lost while watching the video. It has to be said that the advent of this heavenly Dao inventory. It really allows people around the world to see a side of many elite champions that they usually don't see. After repelling Onyx, Xiaozhi happily held Riolu in his arms. Well done Riolu. You were amazing, Leo. Xiaozhi's praise was very helpful to Riolu. After a brief hug, Xiaozhi took out a Pokeball and asked Riolu. May I, Leo? Riolu nodded heavily. What he has been waiting for is the trainer in front of him, therefore, it is natural for him to become his Pokemon. Haha. Then let's fight side by side from now on. With that said, Xiaozhi gently tapped the Pokeball on Riolu's head. Then the Pokeball didn't shake at all and made a click sound, indicating that Xiaozhi had subdued Riolu. I conquered Riolu. Pikachu, Pikachu? When did you? Xiaozhi looked behind him and found that Pikachu had already stood at the feet behind him. When Xiaozhi made his iconic subduing speech just now, Pikachu also habitually responded to Xiaozhi. Just now when you were directing Riolu and Onyx to fight, we came. Xiaochen also slowly walked out from behind the rock wall. In fact, Xiaochunhe and Pikachu basically found Riolu at the same time as Xiaozhi. After all, Pikachu's intuition is quite sensitive. It's just that Xiaozhi made the first move, so Xiaochen chose to let Pikachu watch from the side. After all, this might be a good opportunity for Xiaozhi and Riolu to reconcile. Chapter 183. Thousands of years of sleep, in exchange for an encounter in this life. Xiaozhi's Shira Field. Advertisement. The result was just as Xiaochen expected. One person and one Pokemon cooperated tacitly to successfully defeat Onyx. Xiaozhi has also been recognized by Riolu. Of course, what Xiaochen didn't know was that when Xiaozhi stood in front of Riolu, Riolu has already restored smelling salts and approved Xiaozhi. Should I say it, Xiaozhi was standing in front of Riolu just now, and he was quite handsome looking like Guan Wanfu Mokai for a whole day. Xiaochen looked at Xiaozhi who was talking and laughing with Pikachu, and thought secretly in his heart. Yulongdu. Well, I have to think he's pretty handsome too. Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Haha, there is something wrong with this little girl. Lorelei. The other person must be 15 years old, right? She's not a little girl anymore. Professor Sakuragi. That's right, my Xiaochen is just growing up now. It's quite normal for her to have her first love. Close black lens bracket. Xiaochen. You won't see your research equipment when you go back, and I'm going to ask Mom not to cook for you tonight. Professor Sakuragi. Stop it, good girl. I was wrong. I won't say it anymore. Xiaochen, who was in school, turned red at this time. Not only because of the ridicule from the major elite champions, but also because Tiandao inventory revealed her inner thoughts. In fact, it was not just her in the video, but also when she saw Xiaozhi taking the lead in front of Riolu, There was a moment of throbbing in my heart, but it's another thing to express the throbbing in my heart. How fat is this Tiandao inventory? Are you still peeking into other people's minds? Now the classmates around him are looking at her teasingly. Will she be allowed to study again in the future? In the image, after everyone was happy, everyone returned to the screen laboratory. At this moment, the screen suddenly darkened. Audiences around the world went into cardiorespiratory arrest instantly. No, you won't have to perform that again, right? Last time, just after the battle with Alchemy Emperor, Tiandao inventory directly selected the image to end. Then they played a performance show by Xiaozhi and Lucario. Although I watched it and listened to it, it was addictive and sensational, but, if you were encore, you wouldn't be able to justify it, right? You know, this is the third round of review. If this scene is over, we have to wait until tomorrow. I won't die a good death without breaking the watch. Fortunately, the Tiandao inventory is not over yet. Darkening the screen this time is just a transition. I saw the picture on the screen switch to a place where birds were singing and flowers were fragrant. This place is familiar to the audience. Isn't this the inside of the World Tree? But why did you come to the inside of the World Tree again? In the image, the center of the World Tree, which was on the verge of collapse before, is now running healthily. And Mew was also wandering around the center leisurely. After a while, a blue light flew from somewhere, then we entered the center of the World Tree. After a while, a blue-white Pokemon egg slowly formed inside. Mew yelled coquettishly at the Pokemon egg. It seems to be saying hello to normal, a Pokemon egg. The Pokemon egg also shook slightly, responding to Mew. Immediately afterwards, the image dimmed, and a line of subtitles appeared in the middle of the image. When Miriam passes, thousands of years later, it is still the World Tree, but now it is the World Tree after 1,000 years. At the core of the World Tree, the blue Pokémon egg still sits there quietly. Suddenly, the Pokémon egg shook slightly, and Mew flew from nowhere. Then the meow 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 seemed to be communicating with the Pokémon egg. After a few seconds, Mew closed his eyes, and blue waves emitted from his body. Then the Pokémon egg disappeared in full view of everyone. The screen changed, and the Pokémon egg suddenly appeared in an ancient ruins in the Sinnoh region. It happened that the ruins were discovered and the Pokémon eggs were also seen by them. The Pokémon egg was then brought back for hatching, but no matter how the nutrient solution was injected, no matter what method is used, it cannot be hatched. Finally, after wandering around, we arrived at the Pokémon Center in Vermilion City. At this point, even stupid people know who the Pokémon egg is. The same pattern, the same location, and it can also be nourished by the World Tree. That is the reincarnation of Lucario, Riolu. It turns out that Lucario was reincarnated thousands of years ago? Professor Oak. I understand, here's what happened. Professor Oak. After Lucario saved the World Tree allowed him and Yulong to be reborn thousands of years ago. Perhaps some kind of contract was made. After Yulong and Lucario were reborn and returned to the past, they only changed their portraits. History has not changed, so only the portrait has changed. After Yulong and Lucario ran out of life, Yulong reincarnated and became Xiaozhi today. And Lucario was reincarnated into a Pokémon egg and stayed in the World Tree. It was not until recently that he came out of the World Tree and was discovered by others. Advertisement after that is the story of his encounter with Xiaozhi. Because it has been inside the Pokémon egg for so long, not only the egg is left with only the instinct to find Xiaozhi, but also the instinct to find Xiaozhi. After coming out, Riolu fell into an impetuous and violent contest condition, so he attacked Xiaozhi. However, Xiaozhi's powerful and familiar waveguide power allowed Riolu to successfully smelling salts. And fought side by side with Xiaozhi for the first time. This is the whole process of Lucario's reincarnation. That's my guess. Close black lens bracket. Professor Oak dare not say that his guess is 100% correct, but based on the inference on the screen. They should be inseparable. Time is something that is elusive to humans. Why did Lucario and Aaron's rebirth in the past not affect the course of history, but only change their portraits? Why can Yulong be directly reincarnated as Xiaozhi, but Lucario has to wait for Xiaozhi for 1,000 years? These are all unsolved mysteries. Mainly because I can't figure it out. JPG. Don't ask. Asking is a bug. Asking is correcting history. Asking is making your dream come true. But this does not prevent the deep bond between Riolu and Xiaozhi. For Xiaozhi, Riolu stayed in the Pokémon egg and slept for thousands of years. Even after he came out, he refused to come out of the Pokémon egg for several months. It even affected his own sanity. How deep was the bond between Yulong and Lucario back then? The bond between Riolu and Xiaozhi today will never be less than theirs. Everyone is looking forward to seeing how brilliant Riolu, the future waveguide messenger, will be in Xiaozhi's hands. Image 1. All the stories of Xiaozhi and Lucario have been completed, and now a new story is beginning. One morning, Xiaozhi, Riolu and Pikachu were running for training. On the way, they met Xiaochen, who was also getting up to exercise. So the two simply ran side by side, but within half an hour, Xiaochen couldn't hold on any longer. Seeing this, Xiaozhi could only stop and ask Xiaochen. Are you okay, Xiaoharu? Hoochie, it's okay, Hoochie, it's just, Hoochie, I ran a little fast. Seeing Xiaochen's clothes about to expire, Xiaozhi couldn't help but feel a little funny. If you can't run, just follow your own pace. Why are you following me and Pikachu, Riolu and the others? The reason why Xiaochen became like this was largely because she wanted to run with them. Needless to say, Xiaozhi's physical strength, even though Riolu was just born. But the Pokédex says that newborn Riolu has the physical strength to climb 2 mountain peaks. Not to mention Xiaozhi's special Riolu, whose physical strength is far superior to the normal Riolu. Therefore, it would be very difficult for Xiaochen to keep up with these two Pokémon. He even looked like he was about to expire. It took tens of seconds for Xiaochen to finally calm down and breathe. She said a little coyly, because I will follow you, Xiaozhi, to various places in the future, and I want to keep up with you, so. Even if it is morning exercise, I don't want to lag too far behind you. Then Xiaochen's pretty cheeks lowered her eyebrows and lowered her eyes, and her ears turned a little red. I don't know if it's because I'm so tired that I'm red, or because of some other reason. Xiaozhi was also stunned for a moment when he heard this. Well, I'm sorry for making you so tired. In fact, if we travel together in the future, I can wait for you. He felt that he always did some embarrassing things. There was also running around, which made Xiaochen need to exercise. So Xiaozhi felt a little embarrassed, but he quickly said to Xiaochen. Don't worry, I will definitely pay attention to Xiaochen when we travel in the future. If Xiaochen is exhausted, I will slow down and wait for you. So, you don't have to worry. There is no need to force yourself to keep up with our pace. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Yulongdu. No way, no way? Overtaking on a curve? Close black lens bracket. Lorelei. Lance. What are you talking about? Don't lead the child into bad ways. Speaking of which. Did you really overtake in a corner? Close black lens bracket. Annabelle. It doesn't look like it. Xiaozhi is obviously embarrassed because he feels that he has overworked Xiaochen. Why do you think about men and women? Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Brandon. Annabelle. What are you in a hurry for? Close black lens bracket. Annabelle. Who is anxious? Who is anxious? If you say this again, I will become anxious with you. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Haha, Xiaozhi has indeed grown up. Not only his height and age, but his emotional intelligence has also become higher, but it's still not high enough. Norman. Then I think Xiaozhi was pretty good to my Mei when he was guiding the brave warriors, at least as good as this. Professor Sakuragi. No, Xiaozhi's reaction to Mei was just an instinctive protective weak reaction, but to our Xiaochen, this is the authentic warm-hearted reaction. Close black lens bracket. What's going on with this inexplicable style of painting? Why did Stephanie's sons' party disputes pull out their father's generation? But they love to watch. Make a few more noises, make 2 more noises. It's best to reveal the inside story that they don't know. Now the fathers of 2 contestants have entered the event. I don't know if there are any elders of the contestants entering the venue. Sinnoh Region Twinleaf Town. Dawn firmly held her mother Johanna's hand as she was about to enter text. Mom, don't go. I will die. I will really die. Let go, Dawn. If you lose now, it won't be so easy for you to get it back in the future. What are you losing? What are you talking about, Mom? Xiaozhi and I are just ordinary friends. Ordinary friends. If you speak rashly now, you will make things a mess, and I will definitely die in society. That's right, Dawn's mother Johanna is also preparing to join the war. Advertisement. It's just that Dawn is holding Johanna tightly, preventing her from outputting anything. There is no intimate behavior with Xiaozhi in the video. In other words, it's just that she kind of likes Xiaozhi in the real world. If you participate in this, you will be criticized to the point of being completely naked. Idiot daughter. Didn't you hear what Xiaozhi said before? He said that in the Sinnoh region, you are the one with the closest relationship. Just these words can defeat those 2 people. Hurry up. Let go. See how Mom suppresses those 2 people. Hey. Damn it. If you let go, the situation will definitely get out of control. Absolutely. Don't let go even if you die. Alola region. Professor Kukui watched the 2 parents bickering with interest. Suddenly he saw something was wrong with Lily's expression, so he couldn't help but ask. What's wrong, Lily? Are you feeling uncomfortable somewhere? No, it's just that I think Professor Sakuragi and Mr. Norman are just like children. What's there to argue about? Xiaozhi never said who he liked from the beginning to the end. Kukui looked at Lily in confusion. This tone. Why does it feel a bit weird? Lily, do you like Xiaozhi? Lily. Professor, what are you talking about? I don't like Xiaozhi. Although he is brave and fearless, he always sacrifices his life for Pokémon and is the first to stop danger. There are still many handsome aspects in front. But I definitely didn't like him. Absolutely, Professor Kukui. What kind of self-destruct type quibble is this? Professor Kukui pressed the brim of his hat and said in a loose tone. Hey, I know Lily doesn't like Xiaozhi anymore, don't stress it so much. 1. He said this on the surface, but secretly Kukui was thinking about it. Right now Lily doesn't have a good relationship with her mother, and her father is missing, so the only person who can support her is me as a teacher. It's just that the Xiaozhi in the video hasn't had any contact with Lily yet, so it's hard for him to join the group. He has to wait until the right time. Lily thought she had hidden Professor Kukui, and couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. In fact, Kukui's team members are already ready. Kanto Region Cerulean Gym. Do we want to help Misty? No. Why does that kid Misty like Xiaozhi? Even if we like Xiaozhi, with her boyish personality, she will definitely tell her in person. If we take action without permission, we might cause Misty's dissatisfaction. The 3 Cerulean sisters were watching the inventory in the swimming pool and discussing with each other. In the end, it was unanimously decided that they would not join the group. Joining a group should be left to the most capable Yaomei, Zhao Li, to do it herself. Professor Oak's laboratory backyard. Misty clenched her fists and gritted her teeth with hatred. Professor Sakuragi, Mr. Norman. What are these 2 old fools talking about? Obviously Xiaozhi just cares about his companions, but they said it like this. If Xiaozhi, the wooden man, could wake up, he would be a ghost. If it really opens up, it must be for her, the most beautiful girl in the world. And after all, she is also Stephanie who has accompanied Xiaozhi on his journey from the very beginning. We even traveled to 3 regions with him. She deserves to be the first heroine, okay? Would you like to contact your sister and ask them to help? Forget it, sister and the others will definitely laugh at her. Xiaozhi, who was beside Misty, poked Misty. Hey Misty, what are Professor Sakuragi and Mr. Wang Li talking about? Haha, they are arguing about who do you like, Xiaozhi. Now, Xiaozhi, secretly tell your sister, among the Stephanies who appeared in the inventory, which one do you like? Cynthia helped Misty answer this question and asked about death. Misty's heart tightened when she heard this, and her ears were raised high, ready to listen to Xiaozhi's speech. Xiaozhi, which Stephanie's sister-in-law does he like? Could it be her? However, Xiaozhi tilted his head and said with a confused look. Huh? I think. I still prefer Pikachu, Misty. Cynthia. Pikachu. Pikachu favorability plus 100%. What kind of outrageous statement is this? I asked you to choose one from Stephanie, but I didn't ask you to choose Pokémon. Xiaozhi's words stunned everyone present. Especially Gary. He never expected that when faced with Cynthia's death question, Xiaozhi could have such an answer. You are indeed a wooden person, Xiaozhi, but if it were him, he wouldn't have that kind of worry. Anyway, he wants them all. Pikachu happily nuzzled Xiaozhi, and sure enough, he is the true love. Those Stephanies can't even compare to him. Chapter 184. Goal: conquer the totem Pokémon, abduct Team Rocket into the Alliance plan. Advertisement. But there's something wrong with Trainer's brain. The hostess still needs to find someone. As for who to look for, can't he, Pikachu, want them all? Where Xiaozhi doesn't understand, Pikachu comes to help. He didn't believe that with his confusing appearance, he couldn't get Xiaozhi back a few mistresses. Misty leaned directly on the chair, like a normal salted fish. She didn't know whether she was thankful for Xiaozhi's answer or regretful of Xiaozhi's answer. Anyway, let's do this for now. She is the one traveling with Xiaozhi now. If anyone has the best chance, it must be her beautiful girl Misty. In this real world, she will never give those Stephanies a chance to interfere. You must be optimistic about Xiaozhi. As for whether Misty can keep an eye on Xiaozhi, it depends on how aggressive those Stephanies are. In the image, after Xiaozhi and Xiaochen stopped running, they found a place to sit down and chat. During this period, Xiaozhi asked Xiaochen, Xiaoharu, have you found what you want to do? Contest? Or Pokemon battle? Well, if possible, I would like to participate in the contest competition, but I only have one collar. Can I participate in the competition? Xiaochen thought about his silly dog. No matter how much I think about it, I can't combine it with the contents of the contest. The contest competition is a competition that pursues contest, beauty, and shows the charm of Pokémon. To her, the collar Wong is indeed cute, but, for others, for those judges, I'm afraid it just looks silly. Therefore, although Xiaoharu had planned to participate in the contest, he was suffering from the lack of Pokémon. She couldn't take that step either. Call me, it's not inappropriate. Every Pokémon has its own unique charm. Appearance is only one aspect. The application of moves and on-the-spot response are the difficulty of the contest. So Lai Diwang is not unsuitable for the contest competition. She can still show her own style in the contest competition. Hearing this, Xiaochen was about to show a happy expression, but Xiaozhi changed his next sentence and said, but if you just rely on calling Pokémon, it's probably not enough to participate in the contest. You need at least 2 Pokémon. If you only rely on one Pokémon, its moves will be too single, and you will still need to participate in the battle in the second round of the contest. If there is only one Pokémon, it will be easy for others to target it, so, at least 2. Xiaozhi can be regarded as someone who has participated in 2 region contests and 1 region's Triple Crown satellite tournament. Although I have participated only a few times, I still know the rules and some tricks of the contest. The caller looked cute and clueless. However, as long as she shows her charm, it's no problem to get high scores. However, the power that a Pokémon can exert is limited after all. It would be okay if it just participates in a contest. Once there are too many games, a Pokémon's weaknesses will be quickly exposed. So, 2 or more Pokémon are the most basic, but I only have incoming calls. Haha. It doesn't matter, let's wait and collect the Pokémon. I got the news from Professor Sakuragi last night that someone saw the totem Pokémon in the resort area in the Sinnoh region. There are even Phoebus. Let's go back, take a shower and change clothes and then go over there. Totem Pokémon? As for Phoebus, is it the Phoebus that can evolve into melodic? Xiaochun's grades in school are outstanding. Even though she was disgusted by her classmates who always taught her professor's daughter, she did not rebel and stopped learning Pokémon knowledge at all. It's just that before meeting Xiaozhi, she didn't like to interact with Pokémon. When it comes to theoretical knowledge, even Xiaozhi may not be able to match her. So she knows that Phoebus can evolve into melodic. But what is a totem Pokémon? It's not mentioned in the book. It's a huge Pokémon, that is supposed to be a Pokémon unique to the Alola region, but I don't know why it also appeared in the Sinnoh region. Anyway, let's go and have a look. Maybe you'll be lucky enough to meet someone you know this time. The two hit it off immediately and were ready to jog back to change clothes and head to Sinnoh region. Yu Longdu. What is totem Pokémon? The champion, don't even know it. Close black lens bracket. Professor Kukui. The so-called totem Pokémon are powerful Pokémon on our island that have absorbed Totem's aura. After absorbing Totem's aura, the Pokémon's size will not only become larger, but you can even instruct Pokémon of the same species. It's like Totem normal within the same species, so they are also called totem Pokémon. However, totem Pokémon needs Totem aura to maintain it. Once there is no support from Totem's aura, it will return to its original appearance. It should be impossible for the resort area in Sinnoh region to have the Totem aura. After all, it is Alola's unique power. In other words, if there really is a Totem Pokémon there, it might be the real Totem. It's the kind of Totem that won't get back in shape. Of course, some people shouldn't even think about going to the resort area now. They don't even know what happened in the video a few years later. If Totem Pokémon was still there at that time, it means it had just arrived, otherwise Xiaozhi would not have discovered it in his turn. Close black lens bracket. Totem Pokémon is a specialty of Alola, so it's natural that Lance doesn't know about it. Who makes Alola so unknown? Advertisement. While explaining, Professor Kukui also poured cold water on those who had wrong ideas. You don't have to think about it to know, there are so many greedy people in the world. After hearing about the rarity of the permanent Totem Pokémon, we'll definitely set out to hunt. Regardless of whether there are Totem Pokémon there, it will cause considerable pollution to the environment there. In the video, although news about Totem Pokémon has also spread, but it's not as exaggerated as it is now spread all over the world. Many people also stopped and put away the idea of going there. But there are also many people who are not determined to give up and are already preparing to leave. It's just that, they are destined to wait until there is a piece of air. In the image, Xiaozhi and Xiaochen went home, washed briefly and put on new clothes before setting off for the Sinnoh region. Xiaozhi put on the black and white jacket he wore in the Sinnoh region and put on a blue and white hat. To commemorate the original trip, Xiaozhi's family always buys clothes that are one size larger as they get older. Xiaochen, on the other hand, put on a pink skirt and bought an off-white sun hat. In the final analysis, this trip is just like a normal fishing vacation. It's better to dress casually and lively. The two got on the plane and arrived in Sinnoh region without incident. After getting off the plane, the two took the Charizard to the resort area. But the resort area is also a pretty big place, and Xiaozhi doesn't know where the Totem Pokémon is. Fortunately, when passing by the beach, they met a few kind-hearted people who gave them directions. They successfully arrived at Lake Totem. Yu Longdu. Those 4 people just now were Team Rocket, close black lens bracket. Steven. To be precise, 2 people and 2 Pokémon, close black lens bracket. Catalia. If I'm not mistaken, the one wearing the human-like clothes is Wobbuffet, right? Is Xiaozhi blind? Can't you recognize him? Close black lens bracket. Annabelle. Is there a possibility that we are watching from a god's perspective, so we can see Team Rocket's costumes at a glance, but Xiaozhi and the others are involved, so they can't recognize it? Close black lens bracket. Diantha. Indeed, Jessie and the others are quite successful in their disguises. She deserves to be gifted with actress. Close black lens bracket. When Jessie, who was watching the barrage, saw Diantha's words, her body became weak. It feels like people can already float in the sky. James. Meowth. Did you see it? The famous actress, world-class champion Diantha said that my disguise was successful, and I also have actress talent, ha 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 ha. James and Meowth looked at each other speechlessly and agreed. Anyway, just follow what Jessie said. That champion praised Jessie for no reason, there must be some plan. But, if they refute now, Jessie can pry their heads off, so it's better not to refute. Day. With Team Rocket and the others here this time, Xiaozhi's path to victory should be stable. Drake. Indeed, the Rockets have always been the assist king. If they were not here, it might be a bit mysterious for Xiaozhi to conquer the Totem Pokémon, but if they are here, then it is basically a sure thing. Close black lens bracket. If there's one villain that's fun to watch, it's the Rockets trio. Oh no, it should be a group of 4 now. Wobbuffet is back online. In the image, after Team Rocket showed Xiaozhi and others the way, they also explained why they didn't take action against Xiaozhi. It turns out that they were given a day off by Giovanni today. Giovanni asked them to enjoy their time off and not to perform medical appointments. So now they're just ordinary citizens enjoying their vacation. Even though they wanted to take action against Xiaozhi's Pikachu, they decided against it in the end. When you're on vacation, you have to look like you're on vacation. On the other side, Xiaozhi and others came to Totem Lake and found out awkwardly that they forgot to bring their fishing rods. Helpless, they could only go back and buy fishing rods. As a result, they met the Rocket 4 again. Among them, James became interested immediately after learning that Xiaozhi and his friends were going fishing. 10 men, 9 fishermen. James introduced various fishing rods to Xiaozhi and Xiaochen in a normal and clear manner like a store clerk. Beginner, experienced Jessie adjusted her sunglasses that had fallen a little and asked Meowth. What is he doing? Who knows, meow. Maybe it's hard to meet someone with the same hobby. James also seems to like fishing very much, meow. Oh yeah, I don't even know about this. Just then, a man was riding a scooter and passed by. Xiaozhi's Pikachu was almost hit by Xiaozhi while he was standing on the road. Fortunately, Jessie picked up Pikachu quickly with quick eyes and hands. This saved Teacher Dappy from being hit. You don't have a good eye when driving. Did you know that I almost hit someone? Jessie cursed angrily at the person riding the scooter, and suddenly realized that she seemed to have caught Pikachu? However, the huge movement outside also attracted Xiaozhi and Xiaochen. After learning the cause and effect, Xiaozhi bowed to Jessie gratefully. Big brother, big sister, you are such good people. By the way, have we met somewhere? Hearing this, Jessie, James and others immediately started sweating on their foreheads. Advertisement. James snatched the Pikachu from Jessie and gave it back to Xiaozhi, and then left quickly laughing. Damn. Pikachu is obviously in hand. Pikachu was caught just now. There's nothing we can do, meow, we need to take a vacation, meow. Oh, let's just enjoy the holiday honestly today. As for Pikachu, we will still have a chance tomorrow. The professional ethics of the three of them is truly unbelievable. Even if the goal that I have been holding on to for several years is in my hand. But on the grounds that he was on vacation and not working, he reluctantly handed Pikachu back to Xiaozhi. From another perspective, the Rockets are really loyal to Giovanni. Giovanni gives them a day off, they will never do anything bad. This transfer fell into deep thought. Professor Oak Backyard Lance asked the many champions. You say, if I go to Giovanni now, after defeating Giovanni, hang Dragonite's dragon claw around Giovanni's neck, and ask him to fire the Rockets trio, will they? Will you join Alliance? Xiaozhi. Hey, don't say such horrible things. Champion Watanabe, you are a decent member of Alliance. What's going on with such a villain statement? However, many champions nodded in agreement. What Lance said makes sense. If you find Giovanni, you can call me and I will help you. Steven said he would provide help. I can also help you, but if the Rockets trio join Alliance, remember to let them build Galar's Palace Gate Stadium. I believe that with their technology, a more spectacular and safer stadium can be built. Dandy also said that he would provide help, and he also wanted the Rockets trio to go to Galar to help build a stadium. Yes, the person has not arrived yet, and the fate of working is already prepared. Xiaozhi, Xiaogang, Misty and the other three huddled aside, shivering. It was as if I realized for the first time the dangers of the world. It turns out that the Upright Alliance champions also resorted to such methods. It's breathtaking, but from another perspective. The Rocket Trio actually made the champion want them to join Alliance even if they resorted to such dirty methods. It shows what kind of talents they are. Giovanni, danger. Cynthia looked at the three people trembling beside them. A charming smile appeared on Yicheng. Haha, don't worry, they were just joking. Xiaozhi and others breathed a sigh of relief when they heard this. Then Cynthia said immediately, if Giovanni can be caught so easily, why is it so difficult to destroy Team Rocket? Xiaozhi. So it's not that I don't have the idea, it's that I can't implement the idea, right? This world is indeed too dangerous. In the image, Xiaozhi and Xiaochen returned to Totem Lake. There were more people here than before. They finally found an open space for fishing. What Kaharu chooses is a cute Staryu fishing bait. And Xiaozhi's bait is, hey, Xiaozhi, is this bait of yours a human? Xiaochen looked at the bait Xiaozhi took out and asked curiously. This bait is a small human head with green hair on the upper part. The lower part is a normal fishing lure and looks quite cute. Haha, yes, this is the bait given to me by Salon, my friend who traveled with me in Unova. I feel like I should be able to catch it smoothly if I use him. Unova region, Striaton Gym. Salon looked at the bait in Xiaozhi's hand with a gentle smile on his face. It seems, he should have had a nice trip with Xiaozhi. He even made a fishing bait that looked like him and gave it to Xiaozhi. Moreover, Xiaozhi has preserved it until now, which shows that he still cherishes the friendship between them. But, he is Xiaozhi, it is only natural that he would cherish their friendship. Salon is looking forward to traveling with Xiaozhi more and more in the future. In the image, Xiaozhi said to Xiaochen while putting Salon fishing bait on the boom. Actually, Misty, who took you to see the Cerulean Gym before, also gave me a fishing bait. It's just that I've used it a bit too often and I'm afraid it might get damaged, so I've stored it well at home. After saying that, Xiaozhi had already installed the bait and put on a fighting posture. Okay, Xiaoharu, show your momentum. Phoebus and Totem Pokemon all belong to us. Okay, Xiaochen has not yet reacted to what Xiaozhi just said. When Xiaozhi started fishing, Xiaochen threw the fishing line down in a hurry. Chapter 185. The Rockets send another assist to conquer Totem Magikarp and Phoebus. Advertisement. Professor Oak's laboratory backyard. Misty heard that she actually gave Xiaozhi a bait. Moreover, Xiaozhi was afraid of damaging the bait, so he kept the bait well at home. This warmed Misty's heart. This Oakhead is quite talkative sometimes. In the image, Xiaozhi and Xiaochen started fishing. Xiaozhi still has some experience in fishing, but Xiaochen is fishing for the first time. In terms of movements, waiting for the opportunity, etc. all need to be taught by Xiaozhi personally. Everyone else had already caught 3 or 4 Magikarp, and Xiaozhi and the others had just begun. At the same time, the Rockets' foursome also came to Totem Lake. This is of course what James strongly requested. After all, as a fisherman, now that I know there are totem fish to catch here, of course I have to try it. It's just that all the positions are covered. They walked, and finally came behind Xiaozhi and Xiaochen. The image switches here. In a dark place, a mature woman with purple hair wearing glasses was giving instructions in an orderly manner. There are words in his mouth. Nowadays, there are many trainers who came to this resort area because of totem Pokémon. They may have rare Pokémon in them. Our goal is to catch them all. To this end, I specifically asked Boss Giovanni for instructions and transferred those 3 idiots for vacation, in order to ensure that this operation will be successful. Everyone, get ready to go. Yes, Master Genyu. The image slowly became clearer, and the audience could see clearly who the person in this dark space was. It turns out that they are all members of Team Rocket wearing black clothes with the letter R engraved on their fronts. Genyu adjusted his glasses and said, Nan. This is an elite team operation of Team Rocket. If those 3 idiots come, they will definitely mess up the operation. Oh, it's really troublesome to keep 3 people who are doing nothing. Not a single operation is successful. 3 wastes. With the murmur of the real fish, the situation is now clear. It turns out that the vacation of the Rocket Trio was brought about by the real fish. The purpose is to prevent them from disturbing the actions of Team Rocket's elite team. After all, we have worked together for so many years. Could she not know the habits of the Team Rocket Trio? Incompetent bungler, asking them to participate in this operation, without even thinking about it, will definitely fail. It's just something that Genyu didn't expect. The place where she is moving now is exactly where the main team of Team Rocket is. Rocket's elite group. Danger. Yulongdu. Jesse, James, have you seen it? Your internal staff are squeezing you out. Close black lens bracket. Dandy. It's not too late to abandon the dark side and join the bright side. Alliance will never take into account anything you have done before, and will arrange high-paying positions for you with easy work. What Alliance lacks now is talents like you. Close black lens bracket. Dandy also started to fool the Rocket Trio along with Lance. Don't care about anything you did before? Have they done anything big before? None of the bad things you do are successful. Basically, you turn bad things into good things. Although the starting point is bad, the result is good. So what Emperor Dan said was just pure deception. Even if you really have to worry about it, if you can lock them up for a month, it will be considered a long time. Jesse. We will not betray Boss Giovanni. The one who is wrong is the guy called Real Fish. Just wait for me, spectacled pufferfish. Sooner or later we will settle the score with you. Team Rocket Headquarters. Real Fish. Now she is next to Boss Giovanni. Even if she sees the image above. She didn't panic at all. After all, she did nothing wrong. Even if Boss Giovanni sees it, he will forgive her. If you really want to take that trio out to do something, isn't it a 100% failure? So many images have proven that if you take those 3 people to do bad things, Tianji will fail 10 times. The best option is not to take those 3 people to do things at all. But Jessie's words left her speechless. Glasses Kappa. Her hairstyle does look like a Kappa, but who dares to say this in Team Rocket? You have to disappear from this world that night. It just happened that the person who said this was Jessie, a connected person. There's really nothing she can do against Jessie. Giovanni also shook his head and told the real bird not to argue with Jessie. What Zhenchao did is indeed correct, but, if we really want to talk about who is the talent. The Jessie trio may be the real talent, they can do anything but do bad things. Image 1. The screen switches back to where Xiaozhi is. The 2 of them also gained quite a lot during this period. But they are basically Magikarp and Goldeen. Xiaozhi doesn't want to conquer, and Xiaochun's goal is only Phoebus. Suddenly, there was a huge pulling force on Xiaozhi's boom. With Xiaozhi's arm strength, he was dragged over in an instant. Oh, a big guy is coming. Xiaochun, help me. Advertisement, Okay. Seeing this, Xiaochun quickly put down the boom, then hugged Xiaozhi's waist and started to exert force. However, even with the strength of the 2 of them, they are only just equal. Just when Xiaozhi was about to inspire the power of the waveguide to go all out. Suddenly there were 3 more figures behind them. Were you the big brothers and sisters just now? Xiaochun turned around and saw that Jessie, who was wearing a sun hat, was pulling hard on her waist. Don't worry so much, hurry up and use your strength. Okay. Meowth complained while trying his best. Why, we do this during the holidays, meow. James replied laboriously. I don't know either, my body started to move on its own. Yulongdu. Tears. Is this the Team Rocket Trio who are both reliable as enemies and reliable as partners? Close black lens bracket. Catalia. Peeved. Sorry, I live in Bangbu. This is the first time I have seen the saying that being a reliable enemy is also reliable as a partner, ha ha ha. Cynthia. Isn't it? When he was an enemy, he gave Xiaozhi countless assists, and when Xiaozhi couldn't conquer the Pokémon, he directly sent him help. Close black lens bracket. Cynthia. Now as partners, coaching Xiaozhi and Xiaochun to choose fishing rods, and helping them fish, the Team Rocket Trio. Are really cute and attractive villains worthy of their name. James. Even if you praise us, we won't be happy, let alone join Alliance. James's arrogant words made Giovanni feel a little bad. Wouldn't these 3 people be abducted by Alliance? Giovanni. Jessie and the others are rockets for one day and rockets for life. I will never let them join Alliance. Close black lens bracket. Giovanni takes action. If he continues to act cold and does not take action, these three people will be abducted, and he will have no place to cry. Now whether the three of them can do good or bad things, whether they are talented or not, is not the key. The key is that they have a special bond with Xiaozhi. If Xiaozhi grows up and attacks the Rockets in the future, as long as these three people are still there, Team Rocket cannot be destroyed. In other words, Giovanni has already thought about how Xiaozhi will grow up in a few years. So what can be done? Now that assassins can't kill him, when it comes to potential, who in the whole world has the same potential as Xiaozhi? In addition, Xiaozhi is on the inventory list all day long. The rewards are endless. It is not impossible to suddenly become a champion one day. So, Giovanni must keep him as a last resort. Wow, Boss Giovanni still cares about us. Cry, Boss Giovanni, we will always be your subordinates. We will never betray the boss, meow. The Rocket Trio made a vow in their own little shop. Boss Giovanni dares to speak out in front of so many people in Alliance, which has proven their status in Boss Giovanni's heart. As for the deeper thoughts, how could these three people think of it? In short, the three of them are now following Giovanni wholeheartedly. Lance and the others also know that their flatter plan is probably ineffective. It seems, we still have to use the plan to assassinate Giovanni. In the image, with the help of the Rocket Trio, the boom was finally successfully raised. A huge black shadow appeared in the sky, covering the sky and the sun. In full view of everyone, he fell heavily from the sky, raising a huge cloud of dust. Ahem. This is. Xiaozhi slapped his hands, then looked at the Pokémon he caught. A giant red Magikarp. The normal Magikarp is only about 1 meter, but this Magikarp is at least 5 meters long. Could it be that this is the Overlord Pokémon here? Not only that, at the end of Magikarp, there is a small fish biting his tail. This little fish is extremely ugly, with many spots covering its body. She is the purpose of Xiaoharu's trip, Phoebus. Unexpectedly, this time it was a double hit. Not only did the totem Magikarp drop, but the rare Tata fish was also caught. People around them gathered around and looked at Xiaozhi and others with admiration. It's really totem Magikarp. I didn't expect to be caught by this kid. Hey, I've been here all day, except for Magikarp and Goldeen. This kid must be so lucky. It's not just Magikarp, look at that tail, there's actually a Phoebus. Although this Pokémon is useless, it is a very rare existence. I'll ask him later what kind of bait he used, I'll learn one too. Maybe I can become the ultimate fisherman. I saw the totem Pokémon existing in Totem Lake being fished out by Xiaozhi. People around are talking a lot, but the quality of the people here seems to be relatively good. No one made any move to directly throw the ball to conquer. After all, totem Magikarp is still an ownerless thing. If an incompetent person throws the ball and catches it, even Xiaozhi and Rage can't do anything. After all, they are not a villain organization like Team Rocket, so naturally they cannot do things like snatch Pokémon. 0. Requesting flowers. 0. Pikachu, Thunderbolt. Advertisement looking at the lively and energetic totem Magikarp. Xiaozhi decisively ordered Pikachu to use Thunderbolt for electrotherapy. Being able to jump so much, it must be because he has been electrocuted too little. Pikachu. Huge golden spark bursts out from Pikachu. For example, Razor Normal instantly hits totem Magikarp and Phoebus on its tail. With one powerful electric skill, 2 of the most useless water Pokémon were instantly charred black. Oh, no, totem Magikarp can still bounce slightly. It can be seen that the vitality of this Magikarp is indeed very powerful. If it evolved into Gyarados, its size, attack, and defense would be unimaginable. Xiaoharu threw the Pokeball, but, this is Xiaozhi, you. Hey, come on, isn't the purpose of your visit this time Phoebus? The purpose of my visit this time is totem Pokémon, and there is no conflict between our purposes, we are going. Ah good. Under Xiaozhi's urging, Xiaochen sheepishly took out the Pokeball and bowed to Phoebus who had fainted. He gently threw the Pokeball onto her. Xiaozhi swung the Pokeball unceremoniously and pocketed the huge Magikarp. Both Pokeballs shook indicatively and then made a crisp sound. Yeah, I conquered totem Magikarp. Pikachu. I conquered Phoebus. Xiaozhi happily picked up the Pokeball and shouted, while Xiaochen was the complete opposite. After saying something as quiet as a mosquito, she quickly put the Pokeball back on the backpack on her waist. It is really shameful to shout like this in public. 0. If you were 10 or 11 years old, you might not feel anything like this. But now she is 15 years old. They say that a man can kill a boy, but she is Stephanie. The Rockets on the side also nodded with a sense of accomplishment. Although they usually fight against the little devil, they are on vacation now. It seems that I sided with Xiao Guido in a daze. Therefore, Xiao Gutu's harvest is their harvest. When they get back to work, this totem Magikarp will also belong to them. Thinking about it this way, the Rockets foursome are even happier. Yu Longdu. Sure enough, with the help of Team Rocket and others, Xiaozhi finally conquered the giant Magikarp. Close black lens bracket. Kalo's Water Elite Shimi. That Magikarp has extremely powerful potential. I really look forward to him evolving into Gyarados. Close black lens bracket. Wallace. I have a hunch that Gyarados may become stronger than Lance's Gyarados. Close black lens bracket. Note. Lance's Gyarados is now blue, the red one was obtained in Johto region. Yu Longdu. Haha, that body type, as well as the training ability of a person who fights with both upper and lower intelligence, is so weird. Close black lens bracket. Steven. Looking at the video, it seems that those elite troops of Team Rocket are starting to cause trouble. Close black lens bracket. In image, the task of conquering the totem Pokémon has come to an end for the time being. However, when Xiaozhi and the others said goodbye to the Rockets trio and were about to go back, there was a huge commotion at the entrance to the resort area. It turns out that Team Rocket's elite troops were searching for other people's Pokémon at the entrance and exit of the resort area. Many tourists feel that the Rockets are just asking for their own death by sending out just this few people. After all, they have far more manpower here than Team Rocket and others. However, when they sent out their own Pokémon, Team Rocket's elite troops directly used high-tech catching nets to capture most of the Pokémon. And the remaining few Pokémon are not rivals of Team Rocket's elite force at all. By the time Xiaozhi and others heard the noise and rushed over, they were already preparing to retreat. Stop. Put down everyone's Pokémon. When Zhenyao saw Xiaozhi's young face, he smiled disdainfully. A little kid wants to stop our Rocket's elite troops. Just give him some clues. Yes. One of the Rocket's members stood up when he saw Xiaozhi carrying a Pikachu with him. Rhyperior, who was ready to command him, was ready to teach Xiaozhi a lesson. Let him know that Team Rocket is not something that just any kid can mess with. Or a little kid with a baby Pokémon, Pikachu. As a result, Pikachu sent by Xiaozhi told him. Not all children are called Xiaozhi, it's not like Pikachu is called Chippy. It's not like any Pikachu knows, a giant beast tail. With a powerful iron tail move, Rhyperior's hard armor directly cracked a gap. The huge body was sent flying several meters away. The elite members of Team Rocket who stepped forward were stunned. Is this AF G Pikachu? Is this a cheat? His Rhyperior is not some tough Pokémon. However, Iron Tail, who is not from this type, often almost beats Rhyperior in battles. Makoto's sarcastic expression changed instantly, the whole face became distorted due to the sudden change of expression. 10.